All right. Oh, I forgot my music. Got my music for you guys. Or my prep. All right. Oh no. All right. So my desktop audio is not connecting. Why is that? Huh? God damn it. It's always something. I'm just gonna make sure that it's actually working. I swear I don't. I swear I don't do anything differently. And every time I try to set us up to. Hi. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's fine. I have no audio connection for some reason from my desktop, from my whole desktop. Oh, you know why? Because that also got fucking. Nope, that's not right. What the? Okay. All right. I don't understand what's happening. Oh my God. Alright, I am having major problems here with the.
I know. Well, no, I would just have to stop and like we would have to just play normal because that would be dumb. Okay, no, I don't want that. Remove this. You're what?
Hopefully nobody's trying to watch this because that's. No, I mean, that's fine. Oh. This was like legit working like 2 days ago. Yep.
Right? That's different.
Yeah, she hit from about 3 though. She hated her mother.
Hold on, hold on. We're live. We're live. We're live.
Oh Jesus! Oh God!
But nobody could hear
And I
that.
just got the audio working. I think.
That was Zan speaking.
Oh yeah,
That's
no,
all.
I got it working like right as you were saying.
That's so funny.
Okay, okay.
There's only 2 viewers on the Twitch right now, and I'm one of them.
Okay.
So it's okay.
So we're safe.
All right. Good.
I think I have to go with him
Okay.
because I
Yeah.
don't think he's gonna leave.
All right. No problem. Do your what you need to do.
Do you want me to just go off on the camera?
How about if you mute yourself if you think you're gonna come back? Because
Yeah, I should be able to.
yeah, so just
mute.
Yeah, if you just go on mute and like then when you come back you can unmute because then it won't like
Okay.
whack around
Mess
my
it up.
yeah. It
Yeah.
won't whack off
Okay.
my camera settings.
I'll whack it off. All right.
Alright.
I'll be back as soon as I can.
All right. Okay. Are we doing a beer commercial as well? And a hair
This is
commercial?
good stuff.
Okay.
I just crushed that bag of bacon, so I'm pretty proud of myself. So you don't
Didn't
have to hear me
happen
eating
because we
bacon as
didn't see
play.
it. It needs to be on camera. You need to crush another bag of bacon.
My
Roll
heart
for
got
deception.
My heart just got sluggish hearing you say that, but I'll do it.
Anybody will do it. If I'm gonna die, it's gonna be like eating bacon.
Exactly.
That would be a good way to die. Eating bacon while having sex. Mm.
All right. So
That would be a fantastic way to die.
all right, so we are on the 30th session for you guys. And I know, I don't know how we made it that far. So now that I figured out the audio problem, yeah, well, we're just gonna get started because we've already spent 15 minutes trying to get started. So I'm gonna do my recap.
Recap.
All right, recap time. So when we last left the Bums of Greenest, you were traveling north with the caravan that includes a few wagons full of stolen goods and the cultists tasked with bringing them to Wormspeaker Resmere, somewhere in or around Waterdeep. You disguised yourselves as a merchant wagon transporting ale and have begun the trek through the fields of the dead, along with 7 other wagons, their merchants, their guards, and some random travelers. You've got several weeks of travel ahead of you, which will eventually lead you up the Tradeway and past the Trollbark and Misty Forests. Days before your journey began, Arik revealed to the group that he's being hunted by a port lord in a city north of Waterdeep, and that he had sent his love, Leah, ahead of him in an attempt to get her to safety at his home in the Chisenta region. Unfortunately, it appears her escort may have been intercepted, though details are sparse. The only clue really being a cryptic note left in Brewbottle Tavern. Next steps will have to be determined later, as you find yourselves 3 days into the journey and just having saved a lone merchant from assault by multiple hobgoblins and their leader. And actually right now you guys are on the landing page, which I have updated to show where you currently are 3 days in. And I'm gonna flip you over to just the map, just to give you guys an idea of like where you were last time we left off. So it is about like 10:30 in the morning. You guys have just killed all of these hobgoblins here. This map is just for reference, because we're really just gonna start with Eldkin and Taijit, who were the shield dwarf guards that were with a couple of the other wagons. They, had run up and seen that you all were done killing these hobgoblins, and then, they were like, ah, man, you didn't leave any for us. But then they kind of waved back to the wagons that had stayed back about 300 feet or so. Or not, you can see the 2 shield dwarf guards wave to you all, and the caravan starts heading down that way. Meanwhile, you all here at the I'm gonna transition over here. The scene of the attack. You guys see, oh, I can hear myself in the background of somebody. You guys.
Is it?
Huh?
Oh, go ahead. I was gonna ask if it was me.
I don't think so.
Does it? Is it Eric?
I think it's Eric. Yeah. I can hear myself.
It's me?
Yeah. In the background.
All right. What do I got to do?
I think if you do push to talk.
It's weird because I have my headphones and you shouldn't be coming through at all. I've changed nothing.
Hello. Oh, is that you? It's you, husband.
Oh, he's mute.
Oh, can't hear you, pal.
No, I'm not doing anything.
I can hear
back.
I think I can hear myself. Anyway.
You shouldn't be able to.
Yeah,
My gain is all the way down.
Oh, I can hear myself. Okay, so anyway, you guys are all at the scene of the crime here, and the shield dwarves start coming out. You notice that the individuals who were hidden underneath the wagon, they start to pull themselves out, and as you guys are up on that hill area, you see there are 3 guards, but 2 of them kind of pull out from underneath that wagon. One of them has kind of like dirty blonde hair. This is really all you can see. Lighter skin. Another one has darker skin, longer dark hair, and they kind of like pull out a third individual from underneath the wagon, and then another person crawls out underneath, and you can tell by the the garb that there's 3 guards, all wearing like leathers, and there is a 4th individual who comes out looking, more like a merchant, like a little bit more flashy clothing. And so they drag this 3rd person out, and then you see the guard with the sandy blonde, dirty blonde hair comes over. Older guy, he kind of runs up to you as you guys are coming down around the like as you're coming down like around the rocks and everything to come meet. Basically, the way that the caravans are going is kind of like they were up here and they have to kind of like go around and snake down to meet you all. And as they're doing that, this older guard comes running up to you, and he looks a little desperate. And the guard that was pulled out from underneath the wagon has not moved really. And
I don't know how I did that.
um, so he comes up to technology. He comes up to you all, and he's like, "Oh, thank Timora. Please, my son. Thank you so much for helping. But my son, if can you help him, please?" And he's looking to you all for aid. Can any among you heal?
I can heal.
Okay, please, this way, please. And you see him like look up kind of like to the sky for a second and give almost like a silent prayer to who you assume, since he said, praise Timora, who's the goddess of luck and good fortune. He rushes you over to the cart, and there you can see a younger guy on the ground. And you notice that the one who's run up to you, he has like some minor scratches. He looks to be kind of bleeding, but he's not. He's just like kind of mildly hurt, and he looks like he had a couple of close calls. And then the other human male standing, kneeling down next to the one on the ground with the darker skin, he is like just very like scratches. But the one on the ground, he's got 3 broken arrows, like they've been broken off in the shaft, in his chest, and he is kind of doing that like he's trying to breathe and he can't. He's starting to choke on his own blood, and so the dirty blonde man, he comes over. He's like, "This is my son. Please, if you can, please help him, Nihilus." And he kind of kneels down next to him and is holding onto his hands, and the young guy's looking up all around and a little bit afraid, and you can tell that if you guys hadn't come, he probably wouldn't last much longer.
I'm gonna kneel down towards the boy and cast Cure Wounds.
Okay. All right, so you kneel down. You don't have to roll because you're stabilizing, but and touch him and cast Cure Wounds on him, and he starts to like breathe again, a little bit more normally. So the arrows are still in his chest.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's healing the wounds with the arrow still stuck inside.
Well, you're trying to stabilize him at this point, because taking the arrows out would probably, do him in before you're able to cure him.
Puncture wounds, you're not supposed to take them out right away.
No.
Could we do some quick battlefield medicine and just kind of snap the arrows off? So it's still in them, but just take the shafts off, just snap it.
Yeah, they kind of did that already. Like, not. You probably know how to do it better. They just kind of like broke it off so that they could get him underneath the wagon. But yeah, you guys can help out to stabilize, and so you do what you can. And as you're doing that, Erdnot and the group, you guys all start coming down and around the you start coming down and around the bend on the road itself. And
The whole caravan is coming now.
yeah, the whole caravan is coming, and actually, the ones who arrive first. So the three wagons that you know to be being led by the cultists, they are kind of leading this pack, and so they come up, and you all have to stop. You know,
Question about that. The cultist wagons, are they? Is every member of them a cultist? Like the merchant, the guards, everything, or is it like, or do like, is like the merchant a cultist and the guards aren't, or vice versa? Like how
it's
do
a
we know that?
yeah, it's a combination. The handout that I did everybody get the link?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a combination of people. It tells you on the handout.
Yeah, but I don't think it was overly. It says the wagons EFG cultists, but then like I wasn't sure if that meant like everybody in that was a cultist or if some weren't and some weren't.
Well, you
'Cause I
can
don't think it
see
specifies.
you won't know that because you're. I mean, unless you walk up to them and be like, "Are you a cultist? Are you a cultist? Are you a cultist? Who's a cultist here?" Like you're not gonna know. You just know that it's though you know that some of the people you recognized at least a couple of their faces from when you guys were in the Raiders camp. So you know that these are the wagons of the cultists. You recognized the Kathja's shadow individuals as well. So I mean, they're not trying to hide themselves; they're mercenaries. So the mercenary group is there too. Um, so you don't know exactly who is a very specific cultist, except for a couple of people who you recognize who I think I have in there some of them that some details that would lead you to believe that they were from the cultist camp. Although, you know, they could be a combination of mercenaries. With the Kathja's shadow, it does appear that they just have continued to have some of their mercenary group working with them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Does
I
that
mean,
mean
just a
also there's a possibility of the other three non-cult caravans to actually have cult members in them that we just don't recognize?
The other, I think there's 4 other wagons. I mean,
Oh,
they
four.
could.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, they could. It's definitely a
Okay.
possibility.
just a quick point of clarification. So this wagon has one what looks like a merchant and 3 guards.
Yeah, so there is a hold on, let me see here. Like a young guy, like late 20s. He's wearing some merchant standard common clothing, but with a little bit of flair, and it's kind of like this sky bluish color. And he's doesn't have any weapons or anything on him, where the other 3 um, are more hardily clad in leather and studded leather. The darker skinned guard has studded leather, while the other 2 are just wearing standard leather armor. And they do have, you know, short swords and crossbows and short bows and rapiers, like individually among them, where the other guy doesn't. And you can see that the cart too, it's not turned over or anything. It's there. The horses are dead. They've been hit with arrows and they're long dead. But there's a couple of crates that were busted open on the ground, and at first it looked like ale or some kind of beer. But as you got closer, you can smell cider, and it appears that there's barrels and crates full of like half kegs of cider broken out on the ground. And so, were there any other questions? I thought I saw something.
Just so are we free to move and ask questions to the people?
Yeah, sure. You see, the merchant comes over and he's looking at his barrels and stuff, and then he walks over to the rest of the group, and he doesn't really know how to handle himself because for a bit he stood back and just kind of watched because he might not have ever seen anybody die in his life before, and so he wasn't all that keen on getting close to this guy who had arrows in his chest or has arrows in his chest. But he walks up closer now and he approaches you all and is like, "Thank you so much. We would have been goners. I'm Wolfram, um, and we're heading on our way to Baldur's Gate. Almost made it too." And he just shakes his head and looks at the guards. You can see that the older guy who's like kneeling down next to his son, he kind of like shoots him a little bit of a dirty look, the merchant, but he doesn't say anything and he just looks back down at his son.
I would ask the lead guard, that's the older gentleman there. Well, I'm assuming actually we're down here now, at least me and Zan, right?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
guys, I would say over that time period, it's probably been a few minutes. It would only take the wagons like another 5 or 7 minutes to get down to you, so everybody's starting to congregate around this area.
Okay. I would just ask the I would ask the lead guard, the older gentleman. I'm assuming it would be. I would ask him how did this happen? Did you guys get caught unawares, ambushed?
He looks up at you and he says, "Yes, we'd made it quite far actually from Daggerford, and they just caught us unawares. Just they must have been following us and waited for us to stop and try to take care of the horses for a moment, and then all of a sudden, the arrows just flew in from nowhere."
Did you weren't part of it? Why were you not part of a convoy?
Well, he at that point he kind of glances over at the merchant, um, and you see the expression on Wolfram's face. Kind of he gets a little almost like embarrassed, but he's like, "That was my fault. I thought that we could do it on our own. This shipment was needed to be urgently brought down to Baldur's Gate. It was already late, and I paid them extra to just go. We couldn't find anyone at the moment that I needed to leave. I thought we could just make it. This was a very major vendor that I was trying to get this cider to, and I made this trek before, and I just thought." And the older guard just shakes his head and like looks down at his son, who's he's unconscious, but he's just kind of resting now with these arrows still blocking.
I would now, and Erdnot and the rest of the crew are coming down about here.
Yeah, the two shield dwarves have probably come around and are kind of looking on the outskirts, not getting too close because there's clearly somebody hurt there, and you guys seem to have it covered.
I would just look over my shoulder at Erdnot and then back at everybody else in the convoy and just kind of say, and they all thought that you were a fool for hiring this many guards. And then I would look at the older gentleman and say, I hope, well, never mind, I wouldn't say that. I was going to be a real jerk, but I'm not going to. But yeah, I would look actually past him to the merchant. This is the gentleman right here with in the blue.
Yeah.
And I would look at him and say that I hope that you paid these three gentlemen handsomely. It looks like they earned it. And then
Yeah.
I would walk away, and I would probably start to loot some bodies.
All right.
Come over here and grab that great sword or whatever that guy had.
Laughing
Okay.
heartily. Oh, that's totally a Mr. Krabs right there. Spike Bob.
All right.
SpongeBob, me boy.
Love
Can I
me
loot
money.
these guys down there?
What was that?
Can I loot those guys to the south there?
Yeah. So among all of this, as everybody starts coming down around the bend there, you are able to gather about 83 copper. Among this is just kind of like a combined 17 silver, 5 gold. You find a bloodstone that's worth about 50 gold. You find a carnelian. These are going to be gems that it's worth 50 gold. Two, I'll put this in the Discord loot chat too, but 2 sardonyx that are worth 50.
After.
Huh?
Yeah, no, so that's good because it's just easier to organize it from the
Yeah.
list after.
I'll throw that in there. You find on the main bad guy there, on the leader of this hobgoblin pack, and as you're going through his stuff, like they've got like wolf pelts and everything. They smell horrible. He has.
I've boiled skulls. That doesn't bother me too much.
He has. You find a spell scroll in his pack. It's rolled up in a tube, and obviously, well, not obviously, but you get the impression that this was looted off of somebody else. Like he didn't like create this and have it on him. It was probably taken from someone. It's in a tube that's got like a little bit of gold inlay in there, so he most likely was holding on to it because it was shiny. And
I'm gonna tuck that into a pouch for discussion later.
And as you're going through, you also find a small glass vial that contains this fluid that's kind of like a milky reddish black. And as you kind of swish it around, it's the consistency of syrup. But it's corked right now in this vial.
I'm gonna do the same with that.
Okay.
Let's put it in a pouch. I'll talk to everybody when we have a quiet moment.
All right.
What did he have for What did he have any weapons on him?
He had. Hold on 1 second.
Sorry, guys. I know I'm actually quite vocal today, more than usual.
He had a long sword.
Chat it up.
And a long bow, but nothing special. These would have been like kind of rusted and not well taken care of. Seen a lot of action. Just utility.
I'm gonna take the longbow. Okay. I'll take the longbow.
You also find tucked away in a pouch at his side. You find this globe, and I'm gonna get a good description of it for you. So it's a small glass sphere, like a thick glass sphere. And when you pick it up, it weighs about 1 pound. And as you look at it and hold it, you kind of get just this feel that there's something about it, but you not being in tune necessarily with magical items. You're not quite sure, but you have this glass globe. And make a perception check for me.
Yes, ma'am. I'll take it. Well, I guess I should make my person.
No, it's fine if you take it. You can take
it. 2.
Okay.
I'll tuck it away in my in all my little my gear pouches, just like I said, to talk about later.
All right.
That's such a low roll. I'm surprised you just don't throw it away, thinking it's a useless rock.
No, that was for something.
It's shiny. it's shiny. I have I have an intelligence of 9, so
so
shiny things.
As you're gathering up all this stuff, the rest of the other wagons have come around, and people are starting to come over to see what happened. Aldor, the human lawyer, like rides up on his horse, and he's like, "What happened here?" As if he's going to do something about it, but you guys have known him for the past 3 days, so he doesn't do anything about anything.
we were true murder hobos, he wouldn't live another 3 days.
And the one of the shield dwarves, Eldkin, looks up at him. She's the one actually who's on his the same wagon as him, and she says like this wagon was attacked by hobgoblins, but they took care of it. It's fine. And Aldor's like, oh, good, great to hear it. And he kind of heads back away from, as when he notices like the blood and like guts and stuff all around, he's like, all right, that's how it is, and moves himself out of the area.
A little squeamish, are we?
So at that point, Wolfram is standing there and he says, well, so my horses are dead, obviously, clearly. And we've only got another few days left to get to Baldur's Gate. I can definitely go and purchase another horse, but I just need someone to either sell me it here if anyone has an extra horse, or I'll take a ride back to the nearest hostelry. It's about 7 miles back in the direction you're heading and the direction that we came from. Either one works for me. And the older guard kind of speaks up and he says, whatever we do, I'd like to do it quickly so I can get Nihilus to Baldur's Gate and get him some healing at the temples.
Going back, so you'll have to go forwards with us.
Well, so Wolfram looks and he says, well, if someone can just bring me, there's a hostelry about 7 miles, like I said, back that way, in the direction that you're going, but we would have to move the wagon, and I can't go back with the wagon. And so the dark-skinned guard says, like, if someone can bring him back while we wait here, he should be back in half a day. As long as you just buy one horse. And he looks over at Wolfram and nods. He said, I think we would only need the one to make the final journey. I've lost some of the cider anyway. And Eldkin and Taijit, the two shield dwarves, kind of come up and they're like, we've got to move this wagon out of the way anyway. Shift these bodies. It'll take at least an hour to move everything so that we don't run over anything important, move all of this stuff. And at that point, here, got his name. The pole rides up on his his large horse.
Poland.
And he looks down at everyone from his steed, and he's
From
like,
yonder height.
yeah, he's like, I'll bring the man back to the hostelry. We can just set up camp on the side here, and we'll be back in less than half a day. And you see some of the others like nod because it's the pole talking and people are just nodding. And Wolfram looks at him and says, thank you so much. If we go quickly, then I can be back quickly and we can get this all taken care of. And we'll be out of your way. And he says, come on, let's go. And he like, okay, hops up onto the horse. And meanwhile, the older guard, he stands up and he looks over at Yuzan and he holds his, well, no, because coronavirus. He like does a little nod And he's like,
Coronavirus.
Oops.
no handshaking.
Getting real.
Shit is getting real. And he says, I'm Emil. I appreciate so much what you've done for my son, and I don't think I can repay you other than with coin. He reaches
Zane,
into he
Zane,
starts reaching into his pack to fish out some money.
Zan's gonna hold his hand up and say, "I've already been paid. I've been paid to protect people along the road. Payment's not necessary."
And he smiles and nods his head. He says, "Thank you so much. Again, this is Nihilus, my son, and this is Peter." And he points over at the other guard, who just nods to you all. He says, "We can, We can move him off of the road and then get started helping to shift everything out of your way." And so that's what they do. So over the next hour or so, because there's so many people, what you do notice is that the cultist wagons kind of like pull off to the side, and you see actually James, one of the Kathja mercenaries, comes over. The one who kind of has the stutter that you guys have noticed, and he helps out, and so does. Let me see, which one was the one that dances? Nope, not that one. Minxie. This halfling female she's not wearing the Kafka Shadow mercenary gear, and she comes over and helps as well. But the rest of the wagons on that cultist side don't help. Lida, who's the guard from Ed Hillary's wagon, the moon elf, Lida helps, and you notice that the majority of the guards and actually the brothers, the merchant brother half elves, help as well. And so between all of you, you're able to move the wagon off of the road, clean up the broken bits of everything so that you guys don't ruin your own wagons trying to get past it. You pull the horses off to the side. I don't know if you guys want to do anything with those horses. Over your go.
Is
Horse
Abaddon
meat.
gonna be
meat?
I was gonna say, is Abaddon gonna be upset if we make jerky?
No. I have lots of
I mean,
rations.
it's gonna go to waste anyways.
Okay.
They're
So you guys
already
are
dead.
gonna carve up the horses, or what you can do is like start carving them into pieces that are gonna be movable, because you're not gonna technically make camp right there. You just gotta move off a little bit if it's not like the best area to set up. So everything
Is this
kind
all treetops or grass, like bushy?
grass.
Like
well, high
oh, this.
grass and bushes and yeah, stuff like that.
Oh, okay. I thought it was all treetops. Okay,
Yeah.
so that makes it a little bit better. I was like, fuck. I was like, shit, man. If that's all trees, we're so screwed.
No, so you're able
Okay.
to pull everything. Oh shit! What did I just? Yeah, you're able to pull everything out where you need it and gather all the stuff. Okay.
Should we try to move the injured kid into the cart just so he's maybe a little bit more protected in case we get attacked?
Yeah, that's fine. You can do that as well. Yeah, the father helps you with anything that you're trying to do in order to, help his son, who remains unconscious. As the sooner they get him to Baldur's Gate, the better. But he is stable and should be okay as long as they.
Hands on him, like, will
Huh?
that help, or should I lay my hands on him? I mean,
You.
Yeah, I mean,
It
He's
will
just
help.
a child.
Oh God.
wait, how
I mean-
young are we talking about here?
No, he's in his 20s.
young enough or not. I mean, if
You're all
we
children
wanted
are
to,
not.
I mean, I have a med kit to stabilize him, so if we really had to, we could take the arrows out and then do the lay on hands thing.
Well, so the father would stop you and just say like, he's since you don't know how much damage that could do, he'd rather be in the city where they can remove the arrows, and then if something happens, they can like bring him, like quickly address whatever happens to him. That makes sense.
Okay.
In case he were to like
people.
die instantly, you know, he would pay whatever needed to be paid in order to get him back. But if it happens out on the road, it will be worse. So he's like, thank you, but
Nah.
not yet.
Your boy, your. I would just look at him and be like, "Your boy, your choice."
So you're all able to do that. You guys start setting up your space and set up camp. You set up camp in the middle of the day essentially because you're waiting for hold on, I'm gonna call him by his proper name. Sulastag, I believe.
I'm gonna
Sulastag.
need spelling on that.
Sulastag or Sulastag. You're waiting for the pole
I
to come
thought
back.
you said let's step.
And so, you know, you guys set up camp early, get some fires going, and when you guys are set up with your camps, it's kind of broken up into 3 separate groups. There's the cultist group that kind of sticks together, and then the rest of the wagons just kind of split up, and we'll have, you know, 4, no, it's a total of 8 wagons. So they'll split up so that there's like 3 separate campfires going. You guys keep it low because you're in the field of the dead and it's not a super safe place to be set up.
Us, the cult, and then the 4 others are the 3 camps, essentially, is what you're saying?
What was the first part?
You said there's like it's the group's like maybe 3 different camps, like campfires. So like there's the cult is one, the 4 non-cults that we know of are one, and then just us, or are we
No,
mingling
you're mingling
with the?
unless you're choosing not to. I'm assuming that you're mingling with the other.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes
I
more
would-
sense.
I would chat up those the guards there, the
Okay.
guys that we saved.
All right. Is there
For
any?
the record, so it's noted by the DM that not has his hammer with him, but it is wrapped up and put away because there is something inscribed on it that dwarfs can read, and if there is a dwarf in the cult, which there is, then that would be bad. So right now that is away, and he has his shield visible but away, so he's using hand axe and a short sword in the meantime if he needs to kill anything.
All right. Do you want to send me what is written on it, inscribed on it?
Yeah, I meant
So I
I
know.
meant to, but I forgot.
All right. Yeah, so you guys are set up. You start carving up the horses, getting everything ready and set for clearing out the bodies and making jerky and getting to know your group. So how about you guys let me know who's in your group? Which wagons did you set up with? Say like 2 or 3 other wagons.
Well, we gotta be near the
I-
pole,
I
right?
would say
Yeah. Well, he's
definitely
gone.
not the one with the lawyer.
What?
Not
Oh,
the
yeah,
one
not
with
the
the
lawyer
lawyer.
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's Bade, the half elf merchant, and he's got the halfling Losvius Longnose, and then the lawyer, and Eldkin, who was one of the shield dwarfs who ran up but didn't quite make it in time. So they're off at another one. Okay, so you've got Ed Hellery, who's got Lita and the quiet rock gnome, and Enam, who's a halfling, the teamster that's on that one. You've got the brothers, Nuhar and Selvek, the one who's mute and his older brother, along with the shield dwarf. And then you've got Samardag, the Hoper, who he's the one who has the pole with him on his team, and Green Imsa.
Is Nuhar not part of the cult group? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, Nuhar is he's the one with him and his brother who's the mute, the half elf.
Okay.
Sorry, they're moon elves, not half elves. Who are hauling wooden carvings that are made by the elves of Cormyr. So I assume you want Samerdag the Hoper, who's got Sulastag the Pole, in your group, and Green Imsa. That's the most like colorful of all the wagons. And then what other one? You can choose another one. So you've got 4 to choose from.
Where's Minxie?
Minxie is part of the cult wagons. So she's over
I
with
want to
them.
dance with Minxie. All right, I'll find my way over there later.
Okay.
I would say let's go with
Wagon B,
B.
I guess. Yeah.
B. Okay, so to Ed Hillary and Samersdag, the Hoper, Wagon D, B and D. All right, so you find yourselves set up with them, and let's see here. Yeah, so Werond and Samerdag, not Samerdag. I'm getting him confused with Sulasdag. And everyone are all around there. Is there anything you wanted to know in particular from those guards? You said you were chatting them up, so was there any particular?
Oh, sorry,
thing?
I didn't realize you were talking to me. No, just normal chit chat. Where they're from, where they're headed to Baldur's Gate. You know, we know about that. How they, maybe ask them some questions on how exactly they were able to be ambushed, even though they've got 3 guards. I wouldn't try to be insulting, but I would just want to know for future reference.
Yeah. So Emil looks at you and he says, "Well, we're originally, my son and I, from
Stop it. Sorry.
He says we're originally from Neverwinter, but although they call it the Jewel of the North, there isn't much to really find there in the way of work these days. So we found ourselves going down to Daggerford and setting up shop and just hiring ourselves out, and we've made this trip before. I think honestly we just got cocky and didn't pay attention when we thought it was midday. Typically things happen at night, and they just caught us unawares. It's just unfortunate and stupid.
Fair enough, it happens. I'll be right back, guys. Sorry, my thing's messing up.
Anyone else? Any particular questions? So you've got, let's see here. So you have the Hoper, and actually, so the big jolly merchant who is hauling all of that expensive porcelain. He was like, "You're right to praise, Timora. It really is great fortune that we came upon you. It could have been so much worse, and your son will live." And he's always thinking of the bright and sunny side of things, and so he's like, "Huzzah!" And he looks over at you, Erdnot, and he's like, I feel like this calls for a celebration. Erdnot, you've got some ale. Any to spare?
No.
Wow.
Well, I have some to spare. And he goes into his breaks out his.
There's plenty of cider to drink.
Yeah, it's all over the ground.
He breaks out like his own little personal stash. He's got this like very small like bit of ale, and he pours just a little bit so everybody in your group can have some, and everyone kind of cheers, and Emil smiles, and everyone takes a drink. Anything else? Anyone wants?
Me of
Huh?
Onthar what's his name?
Onthar
Froom.
Froom.
Yeah, he reminds me of that guy. Ask him, do you have any kin in Enterel?
And he says, I have kin all over the place. Everyone is my kin. I have friends in every major city. El Terrell is a beautiful, beautiful place. The light always shining. It's enough to just warm your heart. That's how I feel when I go there. Heart warmed.
Okay, then.
Okay. So
Who else is in here?
Green Imsa is there.
Like, this group's all humans. That's why I don't want to talk to any of them.
Yeah, the dwarves are in the other group over. I mean, you guys could still mingle. You're just at this moment kind of sitting around, setting up your camp, and talking to the people that are in your camp. You do see Abaddon, Minxie, like she disconnects from the group that she's with, and she's doing a little dance, and she goes and picks some flowers, and you kind
Oh
of
my
get
god, oh my god, oh my god.
you kind of get the impression that like something's not all like there with her. But she's out there and she's dancing away and like humming and doing like a little and she's going to town pulling up flowers.
I want to go join her.
Okay.
It's her.
Right? Yes.
I'm gonna make sure I don't go near any gnomes.
Okay.
Just kind of steer.
All right.
But is it a gnome or a halfling?
Oh, she's a halfling. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought she was a gnome. Whoops.
No, but it's hard to.
Well,
no, I'm just kidding.
well, yeah.
JK.
Yeah, there is a gnome with us in Wagon B.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
well,
there is.
I avoid the gnome.
Okay. Yeah, Wagon B, Radisir is there. He's the rock gnome. Which, by the way, so during all this, Uncle Ari was just like, "This is done," and he like got up on his horse, and he's just been kind of quietly sitting by himself. And Micaiah has also just been helping out. And Ari has not gone over to Radisir just because he's seemed to be just quietly on his own. He sits there, but he doesn't really talk to anybody. Let's see. Okay, so Abaddon, you go over to Minxie, who's dancing a little bit, and she sees you, and she's like, "Oh, hello." And she's still dancing, picking flowers.
Oh, I'll say, so what did you find? Anything beautiful out here?
Yeah, I found these purple flowers, and she holds up a purple flower. She's like, I have no idea what it's called because I don't know anything about flowers except that they're beautiful.
Can I go close and take a peek?
Yeah.
I want to take a sniff.
Okay. It smells lovely.
Of what?
The flower.
You're not gonna smell her.
Her flower.
Um,
Oh, I can't move that.
and you can tell
Smells like halfling.
it's a pretty common, like, it's very obviously a lavender flower, so like anybody should know what it is. But something's not right with her, so you just kind of let it pass. Give her a pass with it.
Is there a check I can do or anything that would give me a better idea of like what's wrong with her?
Roll for the mental impair.
She kicked in the head by a horse or something?
You could do like an insight. You could try an insight check, but how about are you trained in medicine, I guess?
No.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, so I would say that you won't be able to tell like what's wrong with her necessarily. Like you don't even know if really anything is wrong. You just kind of feel like maybe something's wrong. She's like really weird, but
scan?
Huh?
Can she cast cat scan?
Is she
Ari makes a magic MRI.
singing music or anything funny like that? She's singing while she's dancing.
Yeah, she's like humming and stuff to herself. Make a perception check though, while you're at it. With her.
Do better than I did.
Oops. Oh. It's blinking when I go over it. Sorry. Did that work? No, of course not.
Did you click the little red dice up at the top of your browser?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
It's just like flashing a lot when I go near any of the dice.
Okay.
I thought it was because I had my phone on the computer. Oh, here we go. That's something.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was zero.
Fuck's
That-
sake.
That was worse.
I was gonna say, how the
Zero.
hell did you roll worse than I did? You rolled a fucking 0.
Okay.
Oh my god.
All right. Okay.
So guess, Abaddon, you're
Dude.
gonna end up talking to yourself and singing and picking flowers and not knowing
Yeah,
what they
dude.
are. You just made best friends.
Yeah, so as you're like you think you're about to go turn to like look towards the cultist area, but at that point she's like, well, what about these? And she shoves like a whole bunch of just like regular old not daisies, dandelions in your face, and you're like, oh God. And she gets them all in your face. She's like,
Allergies.
I don't know what these are. They're yellow. Yellow flowers.
Oh, they're beautiful. DM, does that mean that like the caravan, the cultists, their uh, their wagon group is kind of like closed in and far enough away from us that we would have to like go over to look at it?
No, you can see them all. Like, so I would say you guys are like your wagons are kind of like in half circle, like or full circle, depending on how many there are. 'Cause with yours, there'd probably be, like a pretty decently sized circle. The cultist wagon is going to be also the three, I guess, a triangle, not necessarily a circle, but they've circled it in. You guys have circled yours in, and then the other two wagons are more of like just a half. So you can see, but it's also kind of loud, like between all of your groups there. They're not so far away that you can't like see them or anything. You guys are in like a decently close proximity, but not for safety, but not on top of each other. So they can, you can see them, they can see you.
While Abaddon's checking them out or talking to the
I'm dancing. That's what I'm doing.
the simple, I was gonna say the simple halfling. I don't know what else to call her. Could I grab one of the guards?
You
to
can
grab,
call
to help me
her
grab some?
by her name.
I can't remember. I couldn't remember the name. DM, please.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Don't hit me again. Don't hit me. To grab some of the fallen crates and whatnot, and just kind of make our circle of wagons a little bit more defendable.
Okay.
If what time of day is it? Is it like nighttime now that we're all sitting by the fire, like after dusk?
It's starting to get close to, like, the sun's still up. I mean, I guess it depends on what time you would like it to be. If there's anything in particular you guys want to do or want to say to anybody, or we can just like kind of speed up the time and get the night going.
Shit. What time did they leave? Poland merchant guy.
They left like midday. They should be back, by the nighttime, basically.
Oh, what are the cultists up to? They're just hanging out by themselves, or besides the halfling, or are they like what are they doing? What are they doing?
Make a perception check.
Don't roll what I rolled.
Don't do that.
Do better.
Yeah.
That was better.
So Erdnot, you look over at the group, and at the moment that you kind of like are, paying attention, but trying to not be obvious about it, you do notice the head guard of the Kathja, wearing the Kathja's shadow garb, um, Wexler, huh?
Wexler. Where is he? Oh,
That's like
okay.
The one who you've
classic.
heard
It's a
like him.
classic bad guy name.
You see him, and he's talking to James, the other Kathja person, and he's like in his face, and you can't hear what he's saying, but he's like he's taller than him, and he's looking down at him, and he's down in his face with his finger and shaking in his face, and James is kind of like looking down, and then he'll say something, and he'll look back up at him, and then he like starts to look down, and you can see that he's like berating him, and then looking around at the rest of the group, it seems as though everyone's just kind of doing whatever. They don't. You look over at Braxton, the other hill dwarf there, and he looks like the most annoyed out of everybody that like you guys are where you're at. And he's kind of sitting, not, I wouldn't say off by himself, but just like by himself in the group, just drinking something. You don't know what it is, but he looks like he'd rather not be where you're at. And after you watch James get berated, Wexler just shakes his head at him and then turns back over to the rest of the group, and you see James like give this like sigh, and then he kind of looks over at you, at your group, and then he just like walks over to your group. Kind of like awkwardly, but he just like comes over, and then he sits down around your fire and just like sits there looking sad and awkward.
Aw.
Very, very sad, very awkward.
How
Am I very
old is he?
far away? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, what spells can I use on this son of a bitch?
James looks like he's like in his late 20s, maybe. It's hard to tell. He's a human guy, which I did not put on there, but he's a human guy. And he's kind of like a little cutie. Like you want to give him a hug or something.
Oh.
Ernot's not gonna
I
do
just
that. But Ernot does have a small cask that he did not share with the fat loud human because he was annoying. So he because the kid's just sitting there and he is someone I want to interrogate. I just hand him a glass
Okay.
and say or a cup and say cheers and dwarf or whatever.
Okay.
I'm nicer to him than I am to most people. The people my group would notice.
Okay.
Was dwarvish for hey, your boss is a real dick.
So you all notice Erdnot like kind of he gets up because he'd have to get up and go over to James and sit down next to him and then hand him something to drink. And James like looks a little startled and he sees you come over and then you're handing him, so he just like he takes it and he looks at it. And then when you say whatever, he's like cheers, and he takes the drink. And he takes a deep sigh and he looks at you and he's like, thank you. It's been a rough day.
I look over and I just be like, hey, the boss seems to be a real prick, huh? What's up? What's wrong with him?
Subtle. Way to be subtle.
He looks over and he looks like he has this little like look of terror on his face. He's like, no, I messed up, and I, he's my boss. He takes another drink. Thank you. My fault.
I'd look over at Erdnot and then back to the kid. I'd be like, and then I'd look back at Erdnot and then back to the kid again, and I'd be like, I'd just kind of get closer, be like, yeah, my boss is kind of a dick too. Pat him on the shoulder, and I'd walk away.
He does like a little like looking back and forth between you two, and then is like takes another drink.
Pretending
get
that wasn't
involved,
even
Jinx.
said.
I would say it quietly
Erdnot
enough
just
that
kinda-
Erdnot wouldn't hear.
So Erdnot, you can make a
Erdnot
perception check,
is- Oh, okay.
unless you're not listening.
Oh, I'm listening.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
See if you can
well,
hear him.
I'm assuming that Erdnot would know that this is all just kind of like a trying to butter this kid up.
Dwarves don't understand that kind of humor.
Was that 15-year roll again?
Yes, I got another 15.
Okay, yeah. So you heard him say that. And you can see James now looking like a little awkward and uncomfortable.
Or not ignoring it. Points at the symbol for the Katya shadow on his chest and says, he's like, how long have you been a part of the group?
He looks down and he's like, "Oh, I just joined like maybe 6 months ago. I'm not really anybody. Nobody special."
Everybody's
Sit,
somewhat
boy.
special.
Tell me some of your glories.
Um,
He pours a little bit more into his cup.
he takes the cup and he's like, "Well, this is actually my first job. I've just never been really good at much, and I've always heard of really famous like sellswords, and I was hoping I could join mercenary group and get really famous, and that's what I'm trying to do. I just need to get there. I just need to be stronger, I guess.
What made you think you would find fame with this group?
I just I don't know. I was hanging around in Afkatla, and this one was hiring, and so I joined them.
You spell that.
Afkatla.
Athkatla.
Yeah, that's the
Hey.
Huh?
I was just psyched that I got a fictional name correct.
It's the city you know of, Afkatla. It's the city that you went to back in the day to find Dario. So you know Afkatla well. Yep. So he just says, I just joined it, and I'll get there one day. I'll just keep working hard.
I indeed are not thinking.
He gets quiet. He doesn't really engage much more in any conversation unless you continue.
See, but I'm not gonna push him yet. I'm gonna lull him into a false sense of security before I pull his fingernails out.
Oh,
Whoa.
my timer went off.
Clap on.
Good thing you have dark vision.
Bedtime.
All right, so
I'm still here.
yeah, so Abaddon, you don't really get anything more from, Minxie unless you ask her something in particular. She's just kind of in her own little world there. Although, hold on. Like babies.
In this room.
Okay. Although you can. Yeah. Nope, that's fine. So the night goes on. Um,
Can I go back to the camp with everybody?
sure.
I don't want to stay with this freak.
All right.
I call her simple and everybody gets mad. You call her a freak and everybody laughs. That's not fair.
But look
I
at
do want to
Abaddon.
say, like, yeah, that's true. I do want to
True,
say,
she is a
like,
demon.
I'm like, well, I'm gonna go now, so I'll see you later.
They're like, okay, bye.
Bye.
Great to dance with you. What was your name?
It was fun. Oh, people call me Avi.
Okay, Abby. I'm Minxie. But you already know that because she introduced herself to everybody in the beginning, so you know she's Minxie.
Nice to meet you, Minxie. And I'll just wave and skip. I'm gonna skip away.
Okay.
Go back to the camp. Before dark, right?
Yeah, so so the day goes on at a certain point near the end of the day, like as it's starting to get dark, and you're pretty sure that the two are going to be returning fairly soon. Aldor comes over to you, Arik, the lawyer. He comes over from the other group there, sits down, and he's like, "So, I heard you were really brave earlier. That's great. You sounds like your boss got what he paid for."
I like to think so. And I would just reach into my armor. I still have arrows in me, I believe, because I don't think I actually healed. So does that mean that since I got shot with arrows earlier, that they're technically still embedded in me?
Well, I mean, I guess that would depend on what you guys did.
I'm just gonna look at him and I'm just gonna snap one of the arrows off. If it's in me, I'm just gonna look at him. I like to think so. Snap.
I could use that arrow.
You hear Vidania over on the other side. You look over and she's just looking at you like,
it's a good arrow.
Idiot.
No, good luck shoot. Good luck shooting it with me attached to it. It's not...
Aldor is like, so I saw you picked up this glass orb. That looked pretty cool. You know what it is?
Not a clue.
You mind if I take a look at it?
Yep, I do. It's mine. It's my shiny rock.
I mean, if I take a look at it, I might be able to tell you what it is.
I'd reach into my pouch, and everybody else is around. I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, he's not.
We're around like the fire.
Yeah, he's.
No, I'm saying like Erdnot.
Did James go back to his group?
What was it? No, James is still with you guys.
Did James go back to... Okay. I'm not leaving that kid.
So everybody's... I'm gonna say, so everybody's seated around so everybody can see. Right, I'd reach into my pouch, pocket, whatever, and I would hold it. I wouldn't hand it to him, but I would hold it where he can see it, close to me, so in case he tries to snatch it, I can just kind of, I'll smack him with it or something. I don't know.
He does
hold it out where he can stay in the open.
He does immediately like reach out to take it, thinking that maybe you're gonna give it, but if you hold it back, then he just goes, and he like leans in and he's like, "Oh, I've seen these before. This is a drift globe. They have them at all the best taverns in, Baldur's Gate and El Terrell. How much you want for it?"
A drift globe?
Drift globe, yeah. So when you guys went to El Terrell, and you went to the pair of black antlers, the blue lights, there were like these globes of blue light that would hover around the place giving off the light. And you knew those to be the drift globes. You just weren't able to look at one up close necessarily because they were always moving, and it would have been a little weird to just kind of grab one out of the sky. But
Are
when
these
you
common objects that I would know about?
no, so they're uncommon technically, um, but they you know how it works, and that if as long as you're within 60 feet of it, if you speak a command word, it will emanate light or daylight. It can only be used once. Um, and actually, I don't remember how long it lasts. I think it can only be used once until the next dawn. So it's not per long rest, it's once a day. Length of time. Typical length of time. And okay, an hour. It works for an hour. So if you speak, you can speak another command word as an action to make the illuminated globe rise into the air and float no more than 5 feet off the ground. And it will hover that way until you or another creature grasp it. And if you move more than 60 feet away, it will follow you. And it will take the shortest route to get to you. So just something
Aw.
to think about.
It's like a little
So
buddy.
I was gonna say it's like a flashlight magical puppy
Yeah.
that works for an hour. I think I can use this in the future, so I would just tell him no.
He's like, come on. I'll give you 400 gold for it right now.
400 golds.
Yeah. Right now.
5, and it's yours.
425.
450.
Well.
Says, I'll get back to you.
I would start to put. I was gonna say I would start to like put it back into my pouch.
He's like, I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you, friend. I know where you're at. You know, we're gonna be with each other for a little while. I'll chat with you. He gets up and he goes back over to his other camp. All right. Did you guys want to like chat about what you found? There was that liquid.
Yeah.
Did you like inform the rest of the group there?
Yeah, I would
Just sitting
since
with us.
since we're alone now. Yeah, I was gonna say, is
We're
that
not
other kid with
alone.
us still?
Yeah, James
We're
is
not
there.
alone?
I mean, you're not alone because you're in a group of people anyway. You're all around like the fire, but James is there. Everybody else is there, unless you decide to go off on your own or like huddle up somewhere.
I'd wait. I'd wait until maybe I could. Shit, who? Probably Abaddon, I guess, is probably I would guess would be the one that's most apt with magical things. Since Ari isn't here, I'll wait until I can talk to her kind of, separately and ask her about the scroll.
Okay. I mean, you can do
I just
that.
don't want to be. I just don't want to be. I just don't want to be super obvious about it, with like suspicious.
Okay.
So,
All right. So the night goes on, and eventually, like, pretty close to like 9-10 o'clock, you guys hear the sound of horses approaching. Like it's a quiet night. It's a little bit warmer than it has been out here in the fields and in between like these. You're kind of like in a a valley area. Because you have been told by Micaiah, she's like, let's make sure we don't set up camp up on a hill, because we'll attract some monsters. And so you guys do it down below.
I hope she listens to this. I hope she listens.
And so you see Wolfram and the pole return, and Wolfram's now riding his own horse as he comes up. And they reach the camp, and the pole like jumps down off of his horse, and then leads it over to the rest of where your horses are all set up and eating, and he sits down. He doesn't say anything and just kind of sits down at the fire and grabs a bite of whatever it is you guys have cooked to eat, and Wolfram comes over and sits next to Emil and is like, I think just the one horse should be fine for us to continue on tomorrow, and we can get Nihilus to Baldur's Gate as quickly as possible. Should work out. And Emil like just nods at him. And then people start to pack up to go to sleep for the night. And
as things are kind of winding down, Zan is gonna use his quiver to send a silent message to ask to speak to Vidania alone. She could sneak away with him real quick.
Sure. You guys can make stealth checks.
You want to sneak away?
Zan just vanished.
Does that work? Oh, mine's just blinking too.
Doing all sorts of secret shit.
Hello?
Oh, it's just blinking when you go over
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it's.
If you refresh the page, maybe.
Oh wait.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
All right. Yep. So you both sneak away. Nobody notices. Zan just disappears. But Anya, you're able to get away.
Zan becomes one with the night.
So you're able to you head off a little ways. So now it's dark and it's pretty easy enough to be like not too far away, but far enough away that people can't hear you. You can still see everybody in the camp. You probably head off maybe like less than 100 feet, and you're good to go.
Vidania.
Did you want some hunting tips, Zan?
Wow.
Oh shit!
Heated.
I wanted to speak to you about something. It's kind of been on the back of my mind for a while now, and I think I know the answer. That woman in Baldur's Gate, you said was your sister, correct?
Correct.
And I saw her with the cultists, so I am to believe she is a member of this cult.
She is, unfortunately.
And she would be the one who freed us from being captured inside of the cult. Wouldn't that be correct?
I think. I'm assuming it was her.
So there's a chance that your sister knows who we are.
She may.
Do you believe that you can trust your sister to not reveal who we are? I want to speak to you first so that you have a chance to tell everyone else.
I was going to mention it to everyone. I'm really worried that she's made it clear that she really does not want me here. So I am nervous about our safety.
I understand your hesitation when you saw your sister. I assumed you didn't last see each other on great terms.
No.
Just be careful. Don't let her, being your sister, forget. She knows who we are, most likely. Try not to be seen as much as possible, because there'll be no hiding that you're sisters if you're seen next to each other.
True. Even though I have a black faux hawk now. I will try to keep our group as safe as I can.
That's all I ask. I give everyone a fair chance. I'm not here to expose secrets.
Thank you, Dan. That's a good secret. Shh.
I'm sorry.
You're not there.
I know, I'm sorry.
I don't know any of this.
And then Zan just says good evening and goes back into the shadows.
Zan?
David, fucking Chris Angel over here.
Zan doesn't wear eyeliner.
Not yet.
Are you sure? I was gonna say that's at level 5.
All right. So, yeah, so you guys head back to the camp on your own terms. And you guys, unless there's anything else you wanted to achieve this evening, you go to sleep.
Right. Well, are we taking watches?
Yeah, so the camp, the whole group coordinates the watch. Which, if you want to volunteer for first watch.
Well, I wouldn't go to bed just yet.
Okay.
When everybody goes up, they kind of like mosey off to bed. I'd like kind of just reach out and just kind of grab the sleeve of Avedon, just trying to keep her like behind by the fire while everyone else leaves. Like, hey, don't go anywhere yet.
Ernot had spent the whole time next to the kid, kind of giving him drinks, giving him food, but not pressing him about the cactus shadow, but just kind of being very nice and encouraging. In case he gets upset again, he can come to me.
Okay.
I'm a nice guy.
See, Erdnot has
know
you have no comprehension of what it's like to be nice to a human. So has anybody here seen Terminator 2?
Yeah.
When young John Connor tries to teach a Terminator how to smile, and he's just like, "Yeah, did you smile?"
Like,
yeah, that's
scary at all.
fucking yeah. That's Erdnot right now.
At a certain point, you so like James hangs out with you guys for a little while, and then you hear his name get like barked from the other camp, and he straightens up and he's like, "I gotta go," and he doesn't even get to put down his glass. He like stands up and it falls, and he's like, "I'm so sorry." And he doesn't know whether to like try to help pick up or just go, and so he just kind of gets up and he runs back over to Wexler, who's there like shaking his head and looking at him like, "You fucking idiot." And he comes over and they go back to the rest of the group, and you do see standing next to Wexler is the human female who's also wearing the Kathja's leathers. The one Philok. You guys like over the several days you've heard everyone's names get passed around, so you see that she's also standing there with. She doesn't really have any kind of expression on her face that's like she's mad. She's just kind of like a little bit amused by the whole thing, and kind of as James runs over to meet up with Wexler, you see her kind of like look over at your group and look at everybody, and she looks at you, Erdnot, and then she does that like, and then turns back to go back to the group.
Ernot just smiles with his back turned to them, to the cult. Maybe I don't know who's in front of me who can see, but like, so just kind of picture the Grinch when he gets the smile, like where he wants to steal Christmas. That's like kind of what Ernot's doing right now.
You see this like really, really creepy smile across Ernot's face. You're all caught off guard because he never smiles.
Yeah, Zan is physically disturbed by seeing Erdnot smile. It's so jarring. Zan is just going to go back into the shadows once again.
So before bed, I would Eric would pull out I would pull out that scroll, and I'm keeping it close to my body, just kind of like sliding it over. I don't care if our group sees, I just don't want anybody else.
Okay.
Like, that's not part of our crew to see. And
Okay.
I would just kind of hand her the scroll, and I would ask her quietly if she can if she knows what it is. Tell her that I found it on the body of the leader of those goblins, hobgoblins. and I just ask her if he knows what it is.
Okay. So Abaddon, you pull this scroll out of the tube that's got the little bits of gold in it. It's not really all that fancy of a thing, but the hobgoblin
It's
thought
shiny.
it was. It's shiny. It's pretty. So you pull
Ooh, I wanted.
the scroll out and unroll it. Roll me an Arcana check.
Come on, Abaddon.
We got this.
Don't roll a 0.
Is it doing anything?
Yeah.
Alright, let me refresh again.
Are we
Did it
whispering
pop up?
because we're near the fire? No.
Oh, fuck
No.
off.
Excuse me.
Alright, hold on. Alright, I think I'll just have to do it with the thingy because it's not working on that thingy.
Okay.
Right. So D.
As Abaddon studies it, I'm just gonna look dumbfounded. I have no clue what magical things do.
Is this shit glued shut?
Yeah.
I can't open this scroll.
Oh
All right.
my-
I don't know why you're like rolling under a torch. You see that, guys?
Yeah.
You see
There was
one.
that popped
I
up
saw that
earlier for
earlier,
something too.
Yeah. Here, here's
Yeah,
what I'm
Yeah,
the
gonna.
torch says T T T T T T T.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clearly, that's not Abaddon because she wouldn't roll that low.
That's probably
No.
why. That's probably why you're getting messed up.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna take it out of your journal so that you can't. Okay, go down to
It
your.
says as.
Yeah, so go down to your as and change it to your name.
Okay, I can do that. Okay. I got it.
She's a magical, mystical
We're
torch.
figuring this shit out.
And the cat butt right in the camera. Jesus.
All right, all of your rolls are really
Classy
bad.
lady.
So
Fuck off. That's
So-
what I think of that.
so you look. You pull out the scroll and you look at it, and what you can tell is that you can't read it. The words are all like shifting on the page, and you have no idea what it says. You can't even get a sense of like what this scroll is.
Liz,
But
she's really rubbing it in there, but
well,
I'm just joking with you.
so you know that if you could read it, then you know that it's like a spell that you would be able to cast. So what you know is that you can't read it, and so therefore it is not a spell that you have access to.
So you don't know it.
So you don't know what it is.
You don't know shit.
Ernot has a spell where he can comprehend languages.
You want to go over and take a look?
Let's say Ernot's walking past to take a leak, and overhears her saying, "I can't read this."
Right.
And then
That is not what I sound like.
So if you take, are you taking the
Kinda
scroll?
way from-
Take a look at it.
yeah, Ernot will grab it, and I'll cast comprehend languages. I'll read
You
it
can
for the
So
duration.
wait,
you
hold
understand?
on, hold on.
Uh,
So
You
you
can-
take the scroll, and when you look at it, the words on the page stop, don't move. You don't need to cast your spell because the moment you look at the scroll, you can see what it is. The words that were shifting, they all stop shifting, and you're able to immediately read it. And you know that it is a spell scroll of Thunderous Smite.
I
Ooh,
already got that.
Yep.
you're such a show off, Artie.
Well, so a spell scroll.
It's mine.
Spell scrolls mean that it doesn't use your spell slot, so that's why they're helpful. And I don't know if Thunderous Smite requires any kind of material. I don't think it does, but
No, I don't think so.
no. So you know that this is a spell scroll of Thunderous Smite, and only you actually can use it.
What about
Findies keepsies are not. It's mine. It's
what
pretty.
about
It's
the what
pretty.
about the gnome? Can he write it in his spell book and use
Ari?
it or no?
So Uncle Ari gets up off of his horse and he's like, oh, I'll take a look at it. And he comes over and he looks at it and he's like, I can't read this. And he hands it back to you. Like he takes it for just a split second and then he hands it right back. It's like,
Got a chip on his shoulder tonight.
it doesn't mean anything to me.
What is this cat butt doing?
Luckily, it's very covered in hair, so. Ew.
It's just like shimmying side to side a lot. It's disturbing.
She just won't move.
Alright.
All right. Well, I hand it back to Eckhart and go take my leak.
Okay, you now know, Arik, that you have a spell scroll of Thunder Smite. When you look at it, the words are all shifty on the page and you can't do anything with it, but it's
Well,
Thunder Smite.
unfortunately, DM, when I look at anything with letters, they all seem to move. Because I don't read very well. So.
Did the letters shift into like runes for me or common like
English.
No, it's like magic that you can read. It's like a magical spell that you can read it.
And why? Because I can cast it is the only reason I could read it.
Because Thunderous
No, it's
Smite
'cause
is a paladin spell. Only.
I got dumb for a minute. I was picking too many flowers today.
So if she
okay.
rolled well and didn't get pollen up her nose, she could have read it.
Flower cocaine.
If she rolled well, then I probably would have allowed her to know that it was Thunderous Smite, but that she would not be able to use it. It's a paladin spell only.
Okay.
So the knight, so you're the only one in the group who can use that spell scroll. Just saying, you can sell it, but you're the only one who can use it as it exists.
Well, it ain't mine. Homeboy over there took it. You don't want to share.
All right.
Okay. I didn't say I wouldn't. I just said that I just don't want to. I want to look at the pretty shiny gold stuff a little bit longer.
All right.
I can read for you what it does.
I would honestly no, Eric. If you explained that I couldn't use it, it would just be dead weight. And did you explain to me that I can't use it?
I would assume.
No, I'm asking you, not the DM. I'm asking Erdnot.
Yeah, I would assume that. Like I know, right, that he can't use it, but after I'm able to read it, I would know that he can't use it.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So when you went to go hand it back to me, I would just kind of put my hand out and just, fucking keep it. You owe me one. You owe me though. Next time you find something shiny, I want it.
Ooh.
And if he doesn't take it, I'll have
battle
it.
axe you can use.
All right. Arik, I need you to. So everybody settles it down for the night. And Arik, I need you to roll me a d10.
Oh no.
As you lie there trying
What?
to
Not get found.
rest and sleep.
Oh.
Damn it. What the fuck?
Uh-oh.
Shit.
So as you
And we all wake up with our throats cut.
No, as you close your eyes for the night, you do fall asleep. But you've noticed that your dreams are nightmares almost every night, and so your night is filled with these screaming faces, the screaming faces of the ghosts on the boat, of the faces of the soldiers who died, the men and women on that battlefield, as the goblins their screaming faces, the screaming faces of your family and of Leah, and you are not able to get a really good sleep, and you actually wake up like screaming in the middle of the night, and like a couple of people are like look over at you. Radisir, you hear him goes shh,
Is
and
this just Eric?
this is just Eric. So you guys, you can all actually roll me a perception check to see if like you notice that he woke up screaming.
I was screaming. I'd imagine we'd be like, "What the fuck?"
I don't know. I'm a
not
heavy
necessarily.
So if your cousin's
Nope,
snoring,
you didn't wake up.
Apparently, I didn't notice shit.
Zan,
exactly.
you would have woken up.
If Garamir's snoring doesn't wake you up, my screaming won't. You know.
I'm gonna roll for Vidania too. I mean Micaiah. Sorry.
Jesus, I'm rolling.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So, actually, Zan, you're the only one who wakes up. You hear him scream out. Like others in the caravan kind of wake up, and you hear Radisir go shh. But, Arik, you do not sleep for the rest of the night, and then you suffer 1 point of exhaustion for the next day.
Yes, ma'am, is there a spot to put that in the?
Yeah, but
Do you think beyond?
this is more of just a informational because it'll go away after the day, and we're gonna kind of skip forward. But more of an informational thing. When you guys wake up the next day, Emil.
I look like complete shit.
Yes. You all would very clearly notice that Arik does not look like he has slept. And
I thought
Zan
they
would
reversed that 40-year age spell.
Oh,
You look like shit, man.
Danya.
Burn.
He's on a roll.
I'm so tired. I don't even have the energy to respond. I just kind of just shrug, just like. Ugh.
You actually see that like Ed Hellery, the moon elf, like she heard that and she's like, oh shit. She like goes over to her wagon and is like, did you just hear what she said to him? And she's talking to Enam. She like is leaning down and she says that to Enam, the teamster. Like he's getting up into the wagon and he's like, yeah, I heard that shit, man.
We wouldn't want me to fall into any magic mushrooms again, would we, Vidania?
Tossing threats now. Tossing threats.
Okay, so yeah, so the next day.
How many rations did the horse carcasses give us, by the way?
Well, I mean, it's split between everybody in the caravan, so it's probably like probably more of like snacks or whatever. Like throughout this journey, you guys are hunting, the whole group is hunting, so it's not necessarily that you got rations per se, especially if you're going to try to make like horse jerky or something out of it.
Have we left where we were just yet?
No, it's still the morning time. Everyone's packing up to go. They're hitching up the one horse to the wagon and what's left of the cider that they have to bring down to Baldur's Gate. Oh, it's so shiny.
Before we go, can I kind of look around the battlefield to see if I can find any loose arrows?
Yeah. Roll an investigation check.
We find no arrows.
Oops. That was supposed to be my roll, but okay. So you find one arrow that is usable out of all of the arrows that were expelled yesterday.
I'm gonna give that arrow to Danya. Even though I have a longbow now, I'm just gonna kind of look at her, half smile, and hand it to her. There's your arrow.
Thank you.
Before we head out in the morning, I want to just introduce myself to Green Imsa.
Okay.
Just go, like, bump into her, kind of, go and say hi.
All right, yeah. The night before, Green Imsa, like, she's friendly enough, and you saw her talking, with Ed Helry and with Samerdag, the merchant whose wagon she's on, the Hoper, the big happy guy. Yeah, so she smiles as you approach, and she, doesn't shake your hand because Corona, but she is like, hey. Nice to
Hi
meet you.
there. Nice to meet you too. I'm Avi.
Hi, Avi. I'm Imsa. This is a pretty crazy trip, huh? I didn't expect to run into issues just 3 days into this. I hope it gets easier.
You're telling me. I haven't experienced anything like this before. This is my first merchant trip.
Like,
up
wow.
this way.
Well, I mean, I guess we're lucky we've got you guys, because that was impressive. I can't fight to save my life, so.
Yeah. Well, those guys seem to know what they're doing, that's for sure.
Mm.
Where are you headed? To Waterdeep?
Yeah, I'm going Waterdeep. As you can
Sticking around
see,
there?
she does like this little, like, I'm green, and I'm trying to not be green anymore. And she smiles, and her teeth are all green, and she's like, it's, awkward and uncomfortable, and everybody stares at you. I guess you would know that. But I'm trying to get to Waterdeep and get fixed, get this little thing fixed. So, once I get there, everything should be fine.
Well, that's exciting. I mean, I kind of like it. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, thanks. I know you're just saying that, but
Who's going to help you up there? Do you have a plan?
I've heard that they've got some, some people out there who are able to, deal with issues like this. So I'm just gonna, ask around. It shouldn't be too hard. I'm bright green, so should be able to find what I need and get people to help me out.
How did you get hooked up?
Sorry. Oh, go ahead.
How did you get hooked up with the Hoper?
Well, I mean, so you go up to people looking like this, and they look at you like you're a goblin or something, and so but Samerdag, he just is a really happy-go-lucky guy. You guys look over at him, and he's just like, huh. He's laughing actually with Wolfram, the merchant that's being set up. He's helping him. And Samerdag's like a pretty tall guy. He's like 6 feet tall and like very big. And he's lifting up crates and just being super helpful. And Whereon his teamster, who's usually really quiet, she's helping out too. And Imsa looks over and she's like, I mean, look at him. He's just super great guy, and he let me join on the caravan. Didn't even ask me to pay him or anything, because he knew that I really need the money to pay to get fixed. So really was the only one who let me on a wagon. Everyone else thought I was like a goblin in disguise or something. Someone pretending.
I'm just gonna shake my head at that. Well, he seems like a joyful guy, so it's great that he's here. And what a ride!
Yeah, he has been so far. I hope it gets easier. Without you guys, I'm probably just gonna. I would just die. So I really would love to get to Waterdeep as soon as possible.
Here, here. Well, it was good talking to you, Imsa.
Thanks. You too, Abby.
See ya.
All right. So you guys all set up. Everybody helps, and you guys load up Nihilus and all of the stuff onto the wagons, and you wave goodbye to that group there. Again, Emil thanks Zan one more time. Offers to give you money again, but And
Zan won't accept it.
I figured. And then, yeah, as you guys are heading off, Eldkin, the shield dwarf, kind of hangs back a little bit with your group, and she's looks at you, Erdnot, and she's like, "You got a good group here. That was very impressive what I saw yesterday. I'm glad to be traveling with you all." She nods.
Or not
Wait,
nods
which one
back.
says that?
Eldkin, the shield dwarf, the dark-skinned shield dwarf. All right. So you head off. Oh.
Sorry, to our group, or let's see, because we have elves. So I want to say to Zan and Vidania at some point, something about the Wagon C group, and just be like, "Hey, they look pretty nice. Where do you think they're from?"
Wagon C,
Mm-hmm.
the brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because we didn't talk to them yet, right?
No, not in any like
Not
real
really.
way. No.
Okay.
And you can see Nuhar, the one with the longer hair, as ooh, I can hear myself on Vidania, I think.
I know. I'm sorry. My phone was dying, so I had to put it on the charger.
No, it's fine. So you see Nuhar, and I can't. He's doing sign language to his brother, and his brother is, signing back. And then like they're laughing to each other and like joking. You can tell that they're joking with one another as they're packing everything up, and they just have their stuff and Taijit, who's the other shield dwarf, who's got like the lighter skin and longer red hair. They're kind of just doing their own thing.
Them have beards.
No.
Then they're not pretty.
Full elves can't grow beards.
Yeah, they're moon
No,
elves.
the dwarf. No, the shield dwarves.
The women.
Yeah, they're both. Yeah. Dwarves aren't attractive. I know elves aren't attractive. God damn.
At the moment, neither one of them have beards going. It looks like Eldkin keeps herself pretty clean shaven for the most part. She's got like a little. I have pictures there of what they look like, but she's got a little like mohawk thing going, side shave. Her beard is not there, and Taijit, she's got like a lot of braids going on and her red hair, but she doesn't have a beard at the moment. Maybe she's got like a 5 o'clock shadow going. She tries to keep up with it.
So they just told a joke. I want to go ask Nuhar what. I just want to nudge my way in and say, "Hey, what was the joke? That looked funny."
Nuhar looks over at you and he's like, "Oh, hi. It was just a family joke." And Selvek is looking at you too, and they're smiling. He's like, "You wouldn't get it, but yeah, it's just family. Family's weird."
Oh yeah, of course.
It's like, great job yesterday. Great job with that fight. That was super impressive, and you all are a pleasure to be around.
Can I look back at the group? Are they close enough to hear anything that I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Yeah.
Or the fact
if
that
anybody's listening. Is anyone
Okay.
paying attention?
Zan's just kind of.
What are we doing right now?
You guys are all
We're just
packing
riding,
up.
right?
I'm making friends. No.
You're packing up and getting ready to leave. Like the other merchant caravan is getting ready to go. Like you're all slowly starting to move on your way.
Can I see what's in their
not paying
caravan?
attention.
Okay. You can see crates in his wagon. Sorry, got a word. But you can't really. He had said, like, you've heard in conversation that he's got wooden carvings in there, but you haven't seen them or anything.
Okay.
and they're closed. But
Okay. Well, I'll just say, well, if you do have any good jokes, I love one. Check you later.
all right, talk to you later. And then he signs something to his brother, and you can see his brother sign something back, and then they laugh a little bit. But
I'm very embarrassed.
I mean, you don't know if it's about you, but you don't
Of course,
know.
it's about me.
All right, so you all head on your way, kind of, separate with the other wagon that's heading towards Baldur's Gate, and they're off on their way. Anything you guys want to do before we fast forward? No.
Zan, seeing that Eckert was looking for some arrows, he's just gonna slip him 10 arrows as he's just kind of moping, looking at his longbow.
10 arrows.
I'm not moping. Just the bags under my eyes from my really bad night of sleep makes me look like that.
Then assumes.
Not nonchalantly try to see what James is up to.
Make a perception check. Yeah, you see.
Like a third or fourth 15.
Yeah. You see James and the rest of that group there. So he's actually primarily going along with a different wagon. The wagon with the dwarf, actually. So he's being put to work, putting everything together, getting everything set up, packing up the tents. Like he's just helping everybody put stuff together. He doesn't look over at you, and you say you're nonchalant.
Yes, I'm just loading gear up, and I'm maybe just kind of like taking a look as I put something on and whatever.
Okay. You do notice Philok, the other Kathja shadow woman. You notice as you like do your little stretch and you look over there that she's looking over at you.
Babe.
And she's got this like amused look that she had yesterday too, and she's just kind of looking at you, and then she turns to go back to the rest of the group.
I don't like that.
I'm actually gonna also, as you guys are packing up, have everybody roll a charisma check. Charisma save.
She wants the D.
Charisma save.
Save. Hold on, 1 second. No, sorry, charisma check.
Oh, oops.
Check.
All right, hold on.
What the fuck? God damn.
Oh, I heard a lot of bloops.
Bloop, bloop, bloop.
It's literally my second highest stat.
You and Erdnot both with 3s, and you have +2s.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that.
Hey,
the second accidental roll was 18.
I'm gonna roll.
I think
highest.
See,
I think I'm the only one that doesn't have a modifier, and I rolled the highest.
Yeah.
See, I'm just tired and grumpy, and Erdnot doesn't know how to be affectionate or nice. Because he's just...
I'm trying. I'm just, nobody likes me.
Okay, so...
Well, that's like a middle... You were just awkward and cute, that's all. Everybody's like, what?
It's almost like they saw my horns or something.
Okay, thank you. So,
I like jokes.
How them jokes coming? Got any more of them jokes? All right, so you guys all head on your way, and the rest of the day is uneventful. The next few days go by, or next couple of days go by, and let's see. I'm gonna have Vidania. Why don't you roll me a d4? I didn't have my friggin' music. I got no music. I can't believe I forgot to do this. Hold on. Nope, you can go ahead and roll. Sorry, there's been no music this whole time. Okay, be careful in case it blows your ears out. You hear anything?
Everybody froze for me. How the hell did that happen?
It's probably because I had the thing join. And I completely probably screwed up my... Yes, I did.
Or maybe we're all just sitting really still for a minute.
No, I screwed up all of my stupid thingies. Hold on. We'll try again later. Okay, so Vidania, you rolled a 3. That means
I did push the top.
okay. So you're on, it's day 5 now, and it's been a pretty quiet day since a couple of days ago. The morning goes by, you stop on your first pit stop there, and nothing really special. It's just another boring day of travel, which is what you really want, because non-boring days are pretty dangerous. And so you guys are heading through this pass, and you're along the road, and Vidania, you like look up in the sky and you see these like birds circling overhead, and you're just kind of like watching them. They look almost like hawks, like up in the sky there. Actually, Arik, I need you to roll me a d10 again.
There he is.
Oh, sorry, Arik, I need you to roll me a d10.
Okay.
To see if you got any sleep.
It's better than last night.
All right, yep. So your dreams were a little bit better, not very pleasant. But this is kind of a thing that seems to be happening every night. So you slept the night before. And Vidania, as you are watching the those hawks up in the sky, you're kind of looking up as the horses are just kind of going along underneath. I actually am gonna need everybody roll me a nature check. Nope. Sorry. Perception. We're gonna go with perception.
Are you sure you want to go with perception?
Yep.
Damn it!
All right. So Zan is the only one who notices.
Hold on, I gotta get back up to roll mine. I was washing my hands because I had some I was having some strawberries and my hands got sticky. Sorry, guys.
Bacon.
We're rolling a nature. Well, I go from one to the other. I had nectarines and did you say nature or perception? Shit.
Perception.
Sorry.
It's okay, sticky fingers.
Sticky hands. It doesn't matter because I rolled the
Same fucking
exact
roll.
same. Dude, what is up?
What did you roll?
Yeah,
Sorry.
damn.
A Oh,
Well,
All right,
I'm gonna
Discord has been hacked, and
gonna-
somebody's just on here fucking with all of our dice right now, except for Zan, because Zan 2020, obviously.
so clearly Zen's the hacker.
Yeah.
I did not put that together, but you're right.
If I could hack Roll20 on an iPad, oh yeah, I would definitely be the culprit. But I ain't that good.
If anyone could, it'd be you. So, joy.
Alright.
Got my eyes out on you.
Whoops. Hold. Sorry.
I won't say anything. I won't give you up though, buddy. You gave me 10 arrows, so we're cool.
Alright, I figured out how I can make the music work. I'm gonna mess with my just gonna mess with my thing for a minute, so I'm just gonna switch it, get the music working. So Zan, you see suddenly like lightning, like these two figures literally dive out from behind these like trees that are on either side of you, and you watch in front of you. You've got the caravan with Aldor on his horse. Eldkin is actually, she's not on her horse. She's kind of walking next to hers, and Bade, the elf. And then so you guys are in the middle, and then behind you is Ed Hellery's caravan, the moon elf and her group there. And so you watch, Zan, as this like flash of something comes flying out from the trees, and you like yell out, and Eldkin in that moment, like hearing you, she sees, and then she jumps over and is able to knock Aldor off of his horse as this thing comes swooping down and just barely misses him. And in that moment too, sorry if this is loud. Nope, that doesn't work.
Uh-oh, I know that song.
No, I can't make it work, so. I don't know why it's not working on mine. Oh my god. Woo! Oh, I think it was, I can hear it on someone else's, that's why. Okay. So, you all see, because you got that high perception roll, oh, sorry, I'm hearing other things going on. You are able to yell out to Arik, and Arik, you just barely duck out of the way as this huge creature comes and tries to like grab onto you. You're getting like flashbacks from when the griffin attacked Vidania, but this thing flies down and then out of the way before you guys can really see it. It almost like disappears to the side. I need everybody to roll me initiative.
When you say it disappears, do you mean it disappears?
No, it doesn't.
Like
No,
into
not
the
disappears.
air, or?
Disappears. It like dives down and then is almost like gone into these like behind some trees and stuff before you can. And you hear this like loud screeching noise, and you see you start to hear people like yelling, and you hear Micaiah. Actually, I'm gonna have Micaiah roll.
I roll initiative, or merchants like still not fighting, or are we fighting because like this is something in the middle of all our shit?
Everybody roll initiative.
Okay.
Did
Hold
mine
on.
show up, guys?
Yeah,
Do you see it?
15.
Who's got
All right.
plus
It
0?
just
So
for some reason I get a message saying you wanted to send the results to the turn tracker, no valid token, yada yada yada. But as long as
I
you guys
got
can see
that
it, I guess
too.
it doesn't.
Yeah, I got
Oh,
that too.
all right. So
The music stopped.
yes, it did. I'm actually going to get rid of it because it's gonna screw up everything. I tried. I'll try again later. Okay, so I meant to have her roll a. Nature check. So let's see what she got. Oh yeah. So you hear Micaiah actually out from the cart there. She yells out. She's like, "Watch out, everyone! It's a periton."
a
Which
what?
you're like, a
Periton?
what? Yeah. She's like, "A periton! Watch out!" All right. So I need Eckert. What did you roll? Eric, sorry.
That's all right. 15.
15. I'm not gonna do both Ari and Micaiah. I'm gonna say that Ari is way back. He like hung back at the end of the caravan there, and he's really far away. This would be too much for me
We
to do.
just left him. He didn't wake up.
Avedon.
Sorry, I had to move that.
What did you roll?
13.
13. Hi, I got a 16, I believe. Yes, you did. Erdnot. Huh?
17.
17. Your thing like doesn't load right away when you talk for some reason. Vidania.
9.
9, and Zan.
13.
All right. Okay. So, as this happens, the Periton swoops out of the way, just barely missing Arik, and the other one swooped and just barely missed Aldor. And this is basically thanks to Zan's high perception and seeing it before it happened. And let me see here. So you see Arik. This suddenly there's another like flyby. Let me put this one down. And
Dun.
this large winged creature swoops down, and you do get to see it is it's this like feathered winged body. It's 7 feet across is the wingspan, and it's swooping down, and it's about like as tall as like me personally, like 5-ish feet or so. And it looks like a giant eagle. It's got like these giant eagle body with dark green feathers, but the head is covered in these like blue black hairs, and it's roughly the shape of a deer. It looks like a deer, and it has these.
I knew. I was like, oh, giant eagle. That's pretty cool. That's fairly normal. We can deal with this.
No.
Giant deer head.
Deer head, and
Giant eagle deer.
its mouth is wide open, and in it you can see these jagged fangs, and its talons are reaching down as it dives down to you. And on top of its head, it's got like these long, sharp antlers, which are like jet black. And on its chest, you can see these like light blue feathers. Let's see. So it is actually going to do, as it comes down, it comes right back at you again, Arik, and it is going to do a dive attack straight down. And it does a multi-attack, so it's going to do try first to get you with its talons, and then it's going to like chomp down with its beak. So we've got the first roll that we can go through. Yep. So a 15 to hit.
Miss.
So that was its talons. It tries to come down and like grab onto you, and it misses. And then it's going to do its second attack. Is a 16 to hit.
That's a miss.
All right, so it swoops down, straight down towards you, and it misses. It tries it again, but you're able to like parry out of the way or shift your body out of the way, and it flies right past and goes right back up out of the way here. So it flies down and then it goes. So. Oops. And ends up, you see it kind of like disappear into these trees here. So it gets like right about there.
Do you have any art of these things besides that token that we could see?
Yeah.
I just want to see what the hell. The way you described it was pretty fucking terrifying. I want to see what this thing looks like.
Let's see. All right, I'll load it into Discord right now so you can see. I'll put it in. I'll just put it in the on desktop. Okay. So.
Jesus Christ! Yeah. Okay.
Next up is so it flies by and you hear Eldkin going like, "Holy shit!" Like and Aldor is actually on his back over here with like Eldkin holding him down, and his horse actually kind of like ran off a little bit, not too far away, but just kind of like ran itself away. And you see all the other horses are starting to get a little upset here. And the next one up in the initiative order after that horrible show by the Periton is Erdnot. You're up.
I can still see it. Is it perched up in a tree there?
It's kind of like making its way through it's kind of like it swooped down and then swooped away.
Okay, I will see how far is that thing. I will shoot it with an Eldritch Blast.
Right.
And I fucking miss.
You obliterated that tree, though. So it's okay.
That tree is gone.
All right, so you you reach out, but the Eldritch Blast goes way wide and it does not hit it. Anything else?
Let's see. I will no.
Okay. Next up is Micaiah, who, you know what? Thinking about it now, I'm just gonna have her hanging back with Ari as well. I'm not gonna try to have her fight with you guys. So she's actually not there. She's hung back. Whoops.
Hung over from last night.
There you go. She's hung over. So I'm gonna hide her. Next up is Arik. You're up.
I guess I'll take a shot with my new longbow and my new shiny arrows that were just given to me by our president. Let's see. So yeah, I guess I'll just fire off a shot with a longbow.
Okay.
Let me.
Are you proficient with a longbow?
I'm proficient with all weapons and armor.
Oh, okay.
For some reason, it's not letting. It's not letting me. So. Oh, it's because I didn't have it. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Did it not?
There you go.
17. Yep, that definitely hits. So it was 17 with 8 points of piercing. So you let loose, and the arrow hits the creature as it's flying away, and you hear it just like "Wah!" as it gets hit.
Good. Fuck that thing. It tried to kill me. It tried to kill me. Tried to eat me twice.
All right. Anything else?
Two things. No, I'm all set.
Okay. Alrighty. So the next one up is Zan. You're up.
First thing I'll do is I'll cast Hunter's Mark on the one in the trees there. Was there two? Is one just not like
Yeah.
in the area anymore? Okay.
You saw the one, and then the other one kind of like disappeared behind the trees up this way.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I just wasn't not seeing it on the map.
Up which
So
way, DM?
Sorry?
Up which way? I didn't see the.
It up this way. Up
Okay.
that way, yeah.
I'm gonna fire my longbow at it.
Okay. Yep, 20 hits.
Sorry, I gotta open my spreadsheet for damage. So that's Hunter's Mark and Colossal Slayer.
Nice.
All right. So you let the arrow fly, and it slams into the creature, and you hear it like let out this loud like "Rah!" as it gets hit. Okay. And anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Next up is Abaddon.
Okay, I'm gonna cast Firebolt.
16 hits. 4 points of damage. So the firebolt slams into the side of the Paraton as it is trying to fly away there. Let's see.
I love that this thing swooped in to attack me and almost instantaneously got a firebolt, an Eldritch Blast, and 2 fucking arrows fired right into its ass. Like immediately.
All right. Next up is Vidania.
I cast Baby.
Baby
spew.
I'll cast Hunter's Mark.
Okay.
And then try to hit it with a long bow.
Okay.
Throw the baby like a javelin. Do it.
The 14 does hit.
Nice.
She has Colossal Slayer.
Yeah, you
too,
do have
right?
Colossal Slayer too, yeah.
And Hunter's Mark.
Everything's falling apart.
It's okay.
Let me find it.
Hashtag moms who play.
Yeah, right.
Oh, wait, I
Gamer
did
moms.
Hunter's Mark. He's under the table right now.
You didn't get your blankets yet, did you?
It shipped this morning.
Okay.
What am I doing? Hunter's Mark?
Yeah.
A D6.
Where am I?
Okay. Alrighty. What is... okay, got it. All right. Okay. So it swoops down and then it gets slammed with all of these attacks as it comes through. Next, well, gotta do that. All right, next up.
So how does? Oh.
Next up is the other one. So you watch as this other one just comes like seemingly out of nowhere and just dives down. It actually is going to go for you, Arik. Comes out from the trees. Yep. And actually I need to move it.
These things do not like me.
Or they do. You must be tasty.
I guess
It
I
tastes
am.
like bacon and strawberries.
Yeah, bacon and strawberries.
Two of the world's best things.
And it is going to also attempt, and as this is happening, you actually notice that there are other shadows, at least two other shadows, swooping down amongst the rest of the caravan here. And it just looks like these two are on you. So you can start to hear
I was
yelling.
wondering, I'm like, why is nobody helping us?
No, you can start to hear yelling and stuff as the rest of the guards and people are all starting to like attack and be attacked. All right, so it's going to try again with its talons to hit you. So it's a 23 to hit. And it's diving down. So it dives down.
Sorry, my thing just froze and I just came back in. The last thing I heard was it was going to try with its talons.
Yeah, so try with the talon. You got a 23 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
So 6 points of piercing damage, but then it gets to roll another 2d8. So that is 10 additional points. So 16 points of piercing damage.
So, was that total or was
for
that
the
in
first
addition to
attack?
the
16 total for the first attack.
Hey guys, I just remembered we forgot to pass out those healing potions in the bag of holding again. We gotta get on that.
And it's going to do its second attack. Which is actually an 8, and that misses. So its talons just like tear into your shoulder, but when it tries to bite down, you're able to like jam your longbow into its mouth, and it pushes away and then moves past. And it is actually going to fly back. Oops, 5.
When it goes to do that, can I use a reaction? Is there if it moves away, I have a maneuvers, actions, and combat opportunity attack. I can riposte. When it creates, oh no, I'm sorry. When it misses you with a melee attack, You can use your reaction, expend 1 die to make a melee attack weapon against it.
Is that considered an opportunity attack? Reaction?
It's under reaction. It says actions in combat opportunity.
Okay. So this one
Well,
actually.
I don't think it's under the same. Are you on my?
Yeah. So
my
if
page?
it's under reaction, then it's an opportunity attack.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can use your reaction. So this actually has a special feat called Flyby, and it does not provoke opportunity attacks when it flies away. So you cannot attack it as it goes by.
Shit.
It's too fast.
Damn.
It's super fast.
These things fuck me up, and I can't do that. Holy crap. Okay.
All right, so that is that. So next up is the other one, which is actually, you hear it like make this like, and then it is actually going to just go ahead and it's going to dash away. So you watch this bird. Oops, bird. It's not really a bird, but you watch this creature. It's just like jets, and it's like 120 feet away in 5 seconds, and it's gone. Meanwhile, you can hear the others all around you like yelling and screaming. These people up front, like he's still on the ground. You can see like these guys are looking around and stuff. Lita is not really sure which way to go. She's like hanging back with her, the people who have hired her to guard her thing, but in further back this way, and further ahead, there seems to be additional birds. So what? Next up is Erdnot.
All right. I'm going to try to Eldritch Blast that one.
All right.
What the fuck?
It is not.
You
Son
You
of
just
a
hate-
fucking.
just
Well, I was like
splintering
rolling
trees.
15s all goddamn night. It's just like now I'm just like, the ripping the
Combat
trees out
time.
of the fucking ground. Yeah, exactly. It's a combat. It doesn't like us. So fuck you. I'd yell louder, but babies.
I was thinking that Roll20 had an algorithm that it went by the music, so that once the music gets intense, you start rolling badly. But no, it's sentient. It knows.
It just knows.
All right.
It's learning.
Anything else?
I am going to, as a bonus action and a safety precaution, cast Shield of Faith on myself. A shimmering field appears and surrounds a creature of your choice within range, granting it a +2 bonus to its AC for 10 minutes.
All right. Sounds good. All right, Eric, you're up. Arik.
Yeah, no, sorry about the name.
No.
I'm going to fire another arrow right towards this next one that just messed me up.
Okay.
I don't like these creatures.
The 16 hits, so the arrow pierces into its body. You hear it yell out, like do a little whack. Anything else?
No, not. Damn it. Sorry, my thing keeps freezing up, and I don't know why. No, I'm all set.
Is anybody else proficient in nature at all?
I am.
Okay, you can make a nature check for me.
Oh, not good.
All right, you've never
it's
seen this
certainly a
creature
bird.
before. You are not familiar with this creature.
Unless is this classified as a beast? If it is, I get advantage.
Let me see. No.
I could just be like,
This is a
it
shot in the dark.
flies.
Sam's
Okay.
like, it's alive.
Like, look at
If
that
it
huge
bleeds, we
bird.
could kill it. If it bleeds, we could kill it.
Okay, next is Zan, you're actually up.
I'll move my hunter's mark onto that one,
Okay.
and I'll fire my bow.
Okay. Is that
Yeah,
your attack?
that's a 9.
Okay. So you fire your bow, but you're a little bit distracted because of the attacks that appear to be going on, like in the back and the front, and you fire wide and miss. Any other actions?
No, I already used my bonus. I'm done.
All right, Abaddon.
Firebolt.
Firebolt. Is that a cantrip? Yes, it is.
Yes. I will use it 100 times.
20.
Ah.
All right, with
now.
1 point of damage, so it singes the wing of the bird as it's flying. Oh, I keep calling it a bird, but the creature as it's flying away.
You just hear
Anything else?
oh fuck from the tree.
Ouch. Ah.
No, that's it. That's all I got.
Alright.
That's perfect.
All right, Vidania, I'm just gonna assume she is also going to move her hunter's mark and fire her bow. So let me just pull up her thingy jigger. And that is a longbow attack. That work?
Oh yeah, baby.
Right. 12, so she moves her hunter's mark over and lets loose, but again, actually as this one arrow flies by the Periton, I might not even be saying this right, but it like kind of like knocks the arrow out of the way as it flies underneath it. Not hit.
Arrow.
Huh?
Just fuck you, Arrow.
Yeah.
Yells the deer-headed bird.
Razor sharp teeth. All right, so then next up is actually the Periton. So let me just make sure I read this correctly. All right. Yep. So it is actually going to swoop back around again and come right back down. When the other one did its like, rah, you heard this one kind of return the call there. So whoops. Gonna come right back down to you, Arik, and try again.
I should have cast this on you.
Trying again.
Fucking bring it. Everybody's dropping off. I can't see any. I see you guys, just Cuba and Izzy.
Lauren keeps
Yeah,
disappearing.
Abaddon
reappearing.
and Vidania.
Wow, this is
Glitching
rolling
out.
horribly tonight. Yeah, so a 10. It tries to like grab onto you again, and it rolls a 10 somehow, with a +5. And then it is going to go for multi-attack, so it's going to make both of its attacks. Whoa, natural 20.
Oh, no.
Oh, there.
A natural 20 plus 5. So it does not that bad though. Except, all right, so there's uh, 1d8 plus 3. So it rolled a 2. So it's a 4 plus 3 is 7. And then an additional 2d8. Oh, okay. No, okay. I'm gonna say, so that was 17 points. Actually, here's a quick question. Zan, when you roll your hunter's mark and you get a crit, and so it's double the dice, does it also double the hunter's mark?
Yeah, anything that is a dice roll gets doubled, just not any of your proficiency or like dexterity or strength modifiers. Those don't, but anything that's a dice roll is double.
All right, so you take Arik,
A lot of damage.
27 points of damage as this Periton chomps down like right on your shoulder and just like rips a huge chunk of your flesh.
And I am down. That just fucked me up so hard. Oof.
So you're on your horse, right?
Yes.
All right. So you fall off of your horse at this point as the thing does that. So I'm gonna say you're not like 10 feet up, but I think it's. You fail a death saving throw, and you take. Oh, you fail a death saving throw. That's all that happens. As you fall off your horse.
That happens.
Well, I was like, it doesn't take damage, and the you guys watch actually as the Periton like lands on top of Arik as he falls down to the ground. You just watched it rip this big chunk out of his shoulder area, and it has actually landed right on his body, and it is on top of him at the moment. And
Take to eat his face.
not
Not
yet.
my face. Anything but my face.
His butt. Then it's gonna eat his butt.
All right, next.
They
Next
can
up,
you can revivify my ass. You can't do that to my face.
Erdnot, you are up.
I'm going to try Abjure Enemy. As an action, I can choose one creature within 60 feet that you can see. It has to make a Wisdom saving throw. On a failure, the creature is frightened and its speed is reduced to 0, and it can't benefit from bonuses to speed for 1 minute or until it takes any damage. On a success, the creature's speed is halved for 1 minute or until it takes damage.
Okay. So what do I need to do?
Wisdom saving throw.
Right. What do I need to get? Oh, it doesn't matter. It rolled a 5. So, all right, sorry, go through what happens again. Can you click on it so it shows up on the screen or no? Frightened for 1 minute or until it takes damage. Okay. It's until it takes damage too, you know that, right?
Yeah, well, I figure at least it can't fly away right now, so maybe Zan can fucking pound it with all his shit.
Alrighty. So it is.
I'll try, but I missed last time.
It is frightened. Let's put this one as let's do the bleeding eye. I don't know why. Okay.
I'm gonna cast Hunter's Mark on it as well, because why the fuck not?
Okay.
Oops.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't,
just.
I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah,
Wait,
that's
I
fine.
did. Never mind. Never mind. Never.
All right.
All right.
Okay, next up is Arik, you're up. Oh, yeah, death saving throw, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't roll a 1. You rolled a 6, so that is a fail. So you watch as Arik is like trying to breathe as this thing is on top of him, but he's also passed out. All right, so it's 2 down. Next up is Zan.
Zan seeing Arik prone with a giant thing that I do not recognize. Going to move up to him, and as my action, I am going to grab my healer's kit.
Okay.
And with that, I don't think there's a roll involved. I think I can just use it. Trying to get it to come up. This kit is a leather pouch containing bandages, and Splint's kit has 10 uses. As an action, you can expend 1 uses of the kit to stabilize a creature that has 0 hit points without needing to make a wisdom medicine check.
Okay. All right. So you're
that's
kind of
my
like
action.
fighting with the animal as it, but you're no longer, you're at 0 hit points now, Arik, and you no longer have to make a death save.
Yay! Or hold on, let me
All right. Anything else?
I like the image of him trying to fix me while he's got this fucking thing in a headlock.
Well, it's afraid. Is it only afraid of me because I cast the spell, or is it afraid of like everything right now? Because it can't move.
I believe it is
It also-
only afraid of you.
And it can't move
Yeah, it
close
should be.
to frightened, I think, means it can't get closer to him.
Right. It can't move any
Well,
closer. Hold on.
Well, this isn't.
But
This
yeah,
reduces
the
its speed
spell,
to 0.
yeah. The spell itself.
It can't move anywhere.
Yes, for the spell it can't move at all. Its movement is 0, but for frightened.
So you froze it on top of my body.
So it. Oh, why did it click to that? Ugh, no. Okay. It can't willingly move closer to the cause of its fear while it can see you, and it's got disadvantage on ability and attack rolls while the source of the fear is within line of sight. All right. Next up is Abaddon.
Did he have any bonus actions he was going to use on? Or...
No, all my bonus actions are spells, and I already have Hunter's marked.
Okay.
I'm gonna I'm going to cast Witch Bolt on it.
Okay.
Nice, there you go.
Oh boy.
Okay. 23 hits for 11 lightning damage. So you reach out and blast it. That's a 2nd level spell, right?
That is a 1st level spell.
All right. Roll me your d20.
Oh yeah. Oh fuck. Oh god.
One thing you guys have noticed as this has been going on is that you've hit it with arrows and it didn't really seem to be doing much, but that when it gets hit with like the stuff that Abaddon's been doing, it seems to like take the full brunt of the force of those attacks. All right, anything else?
Um, I'm gonna take, I think as a bonus action, I can take one of the healing potions out of the bag of holding, correct? Just
Yeah.
to take it out? Yeah,
Yep.
okay, so I'll take it out.
Okay. All right. Vidania is going to do what she normally does best.
Murder
And
hobo!
shoot.
Dump them out.
Is going to shoot at the... Oh shit. Yep. 25 to hit. Then what is it?
1d8
1d8.
and 1d6.
All right. All right, so her arrow slams into it as well, and it's looking pretty hurt at this point. All right, and it is its turn. It is no longer frightened. It took damage. So it is actually going to do one last try here. Ark, you are underneath it. So you're stable. But let me see. Huh?
He's stable, but he's lunch.
Yeah.
Well, if it wasn't frozen on top of me, it might have flown away.
No, it took down its prey and it wants to continue eating.
All right. It is going to attack you 2 times.
Okay.
Let's see here. Like, all right, let's just see what happens. All right, that's a 10. So it try it with its talons. It comes down on and tries to like rip at your armor, and it's like going for your chest and trying to pull off the armor, but it's a 10. It can't quite get through, and it's going to do the gore attack with its beak. And that is a 22 to hit, so that is actually a crit against you. So that is 2 failed death saving throws as it tears into your chest, and it's like digging in and trying to get to your heart, but it can't quite get there. And it is actually going to take this moment and seeing like how bad its situation is. It tried really hard to get there, get inside to your tender insides, but it could not. So you are again at 2 death saving throws. Failed. So it is going to leap off of you, and then it is going to fly its speed away, which is it flies past through these trees, and it disappears like on the other side of the trees. And it lets out this like really angry like ah! As it does it.
At least it didn't take me with it. Happy about that.
Well, it just kicked me off there for a moment.
Just a large part of your chest.
And I actually need you to make a death saving throw because it's your turn.
Oh my god.
All right, so you succeed. Zan, it is your turn.
I will
my
cast.
My turn?
Oh yeah, isn't
Right, don't
Erdnot
I go
up before me?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I skipped you. You should have gone before
Okay.
Arik made that. Go ahead.
We don't have to
shut
redo
up.
anything.
No.
Alright. No, I'll hop off and go over there, take a look at the gaping hole,
You have
and
you only have a couple seconds, so he's still
I know
bleeding
I'm
out.
looking for the damn thing here. God damn it! Where's my
Lay
He
your hands
slowly
on
comes
him.
down off of the horse and is like,
You're a paladin.
I
I'll
gave you
do
that scroll, god damn it.
You
This is
only
the
have to give him one.
right. Pretty sure you just have to say that you give him points.
actually gonna give him healing light, which would give him more than just 1 point. But since everyone's being a prick about it, I'll just touch him and give him 1 point of life. I'll give you 5.
You don't have to sound so fucking. I'll give you 5.
It's gonna give you more. I'll give you 5.
Thanks.
No, yeah, actually no. I'm gonna do. I mean, you can roll a 2d6 because I'm gonna do healing light on him. Or do I roll the 2d6?
You roll the 2d6. It's your spell, so you do the thing.
Okay.
So, not the 5. You're rolling something different now.
Well, this might get you more.
Oh.
Let's see. Actually, I'll give you the whole thing, the whole shebang. I should have given you the 5. What the fuck is that? Why? What the fuck? This is all the fucking ones. Jesus
Hey,
fucking
I'm not.
shit. It's a
I
waste of
ain't
my
dead.
fucking
That's
bonus
okay.
action. God damn it. Motherfucker. Alright, so I'm holding my action, which is an Eldritch Blast, in case anything that flies comes by. I don't care if it's a dove or a pigeon or whatever.
Okay.
A bald eagle.
America.
If it flies, it dies.
Right. There are others that are like being fought by the other groups. But for now, the two that were attacking you, it looks like there's 2 others, and I'm actually gonna just roll real quick because this would have happened pretty fast. Okay. By the time you guys are all done, so you're stabilized and you're all set. You did notice that it was like your armor is like torn open, and it was like trying to get into your chest there. And I'm gonna say I rolled. Let's see, I rolled it. So after about like 30 seconds, you guys notice that the other bird, the other paratons, the 2 others, they end up flying away as well. It doesn't look like they didn't fly away with anybody that was in your group or anything. There's definitely people who are bloodied and whatnot. Is that a cat? Sounded like somebody going like help.
Yeah,
That was me.
That's
that was
Pumpkin.
yeah.
That's me laying on the ground.
That was Koi saying goodnight.
Good
The
night.
noise. It's the noise escaping the gaping hole in my chest as I breathe.
So, you guys all get the impression here. So, like, first of all, Micaiah comes running up at that point, and she's like, "Sorry, I was so far away, y'all. I wanted to warn you. Those guys, they go after humans, and they try to eat your heart. So
Jeez.
you gotta be careful when you see those motherfuckers." Ah, sorry, I didn't get up here fast enough.
Thanks, Micaiah.
Like they're like killer whales that like just what is right? It's the killer whales that go after like seal livers or something like that specifically.
Yeah, they specifically like target organs.
Yeah. Yeah, so you guys all like it everything kind of dies down and people are all checking each other. Aldor gets up and he's like holding his head because he kind of fell against a rock there, and Eldkin is helping him up, and he's like, "Holy shit!" And you can see that there are a couple of other people. The cultists up ahead, they seem to have like joined in to try to help with one of the birds, which drove it away really quickly. And let me see who else is in the group here, real quick. It looks like Werond, who is the teamster for Samerdag, she got a pretty bad like gash on her head that is bleeding, but they're like able to stop the flow and everybody's coming over to help her. But nobody, due to the luck of the dice, died. Nobody died on this trip, and so after that attack, you all kind of decide that you're gonna move on just for a little bit more, like a couple more miles that day, but it's starting to be, it was like afternoon when this happened, but not quite dinner time. So you just move on just a little bit, and you guys end up making camp like an hour or two earlier than you normally would, just because people are like, okay, we need to like calm the horses and just take a break, because that attack was unexpected and like very violent all of a sudden, and gave a lot of people a pretty good scare.
I'm all slumped over on the horse, bleeding all over my poor Gambit.
Yeah, and you have another scar on your chest somewhere as it knocks you. More battle wounds.
Chicks dig scars, it's okay.
Leah's not going to be able to keep her hands off you.
This one was when my, did you say my heart almost? You said something about it was trying to dig
so
for...
Micaiah lets you know that Peritons specifically go after human hearts. Their thing.
Oh.
It's what helps them make babies.
Sweetness, my heart belongs to you so dearly that even a fucking whatever the hell this beastie bird thing is couldn't take it away. That's what I was thinking about
like
when I was trying to tear
one of the most powerful warriors in this caravan, and his heart is literally hanging out of his chest, but the fucking lawyer lived. I mean, I'm assuming the guy hid in a toilet, like an outdoor porta potty.
Well, so
Jurassic Park.
the Periton that went after him, it ended up shifting over to Arik after its mate moved on because it got hurt so bad. So he just got lucky. He was down on the ground but Arik was still up on his horse, and so the focus just changed.
I hope that Periton's mate dies in its nest a long, fucking hard death. Hey, it tried to pull the heart out of my chest with its beak.
It's just doing what it's supposed to do in nature.
It's an abomination, and it deserves to die.
Yeah, but did you die?
Wait, who's saying that?
Sort of.
Actually,
almost.
I was gonna say I was
my feelings.
pretty much dead.
Yeah, you were very close. That was very close.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was scary close.
Yeah, what?
You'd have to drag your carcass all the way back to Baldur's Gate.
Like, we're in the middle of nowhere.
Just bury. Just let me die.
It's like
couldn't even pack you on ice.
No, there's no cleric close enough in order to bring you back.
I'd be pretty fucked.
That would just be that.
And I would, and in my ghostly form, I would forever haunt Erdnot for being like, "Hey, remember the time I was getting something ripped out of my chest and you froze it there?"
Remember the time you ripped your heart out?
It was on top of me, eating me.
And I thought freezing it so that it can't get away was a good idea.
Are they fighting like on the trip too?
Yeah. Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Yep.
Are you yelling at each other as we walk?
I'm just screaming. I'm just screaming blood everywhere. Just super upset.
So
Like a married couple.
that's where we'll stop. End of day 5. You guys all set up camp and Arik, it seems to be a trend. You're just like continuously hitting the pavement, so to speak.
Seriously.
Well, that's just how it is. It's all good. So we're kicking. So we're stopping and setting up camp.
Yeah, yeah. Y'all set up camp and for the night. Again, a little bit earlier. It's your 5th day of travel. You've been on the road for 5 days.
We'll
40
just
more
be
to go.
If
just
he
before
died,
we
you
take
have
out.
10 days to bring him back, right?
10 days. Yep.
Be fine. He'd make it.
Just before we, I don't know if who the hell knows what's gonna happen. I'm gonna do my second wind ability. It's 1d10 plus 4,
Okay.
just to you know,
Just in case.
just yeah, because you never really know.
We could be
So
going
You
to
could
bed.
have assassins, that are invisible just appear over you as you slumber and
yeah, just
automatically crit you.
Ooh, that's a good thing to think about.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
And you do see
so.
when you guys are all like set up for your camp for the night, you see that Orvustia is hanging out with Werond a lot, like the other human who's with you, the human guard, the younger one. She is over there with her and helping her like feel a little bit better. Got like 4 or 5 humans with you on this trip. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Anyway, all right.
I'm back up at 14, so I feel a little bit better.
Okay. All right, so that's where we'll stop. Is the end of day 5 as you guys
And
back up.
just before we go to bed, Zion will ask, maybe we all should take 2 healing potions out of the bag of holding just to have on us just in case. That I think that leaves, I think there's 13 in there. So if everyone in the party takes 2, it'll leave 1 for when Uncle Ari comes if he needs a healing potion. And I think there's a superior in there as well.
I think, well, we can go back over it, but I think we have 13. I think we have 15 potions of healing and 1 superior. But we can double check it.
Yeah, I
Hold
haven't
on
looked
to-
at it yet. I don't
I
remember
don't need
the
to
last time
carry
I looked at
around
it.
one. So I have 3 different ways of healing. So someone who has no healing magic should probably take like an extra.
I'll grab that. Yeah, I'll reach over and just pluck it out of his hands. Like, thank you. That's mean.
Yeah, I do, like, I have cure wounds, but I have limited spell slots. I only have 3 slots, and cure wounds is every time I cast it, that's 1 less hunter's mark.
Yeah.
That, but then I also have lay on hands, and I have the uh, which doesn't take spell slots, and then I have the other thing which doesn't take spell slots. So it's more useful to someone who can't spare it.
So I'll definitely, I'm gonna take 2 of the potions out of the bag
Yeah,
of
I'll
holding.
take 2 as well.
I find it funny because I can use that second wind ability in or out of combat, and in the handbook it's described as like for a moment you can push yourself beyond your normal boundaries, yada yada yada. So it's like I just had my like chest all fucking torn apart, and then it was like I just settled, took a deep breath, and was like,
Walk
all
it
right, I'm good.
off.
Like, dude, rub a little dirt on my exposed fucking organs. Just get back to it.
Just
It's
walk
okay.
it off there, kid.
Shoot Erdnon a dirty look and just keep walking.
The man who saved your life.
So do we want to
Yes.
assume that Micaiah and
would be-
Vidania took 2 potions also?
I don't
would've
see
s-
why
I-
not.
Yeah, because even if we don't use it for ourselves, it's always good to be able to. It's a bonus action, I think, to give someone
Yeah.
a potion. Is that right?
It is
no, it's
an
No.
action. It's a
It's a
bonus
bonus
action
give
to
it to
take.
somebody.
for your stealth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We just have to remind them next session or in the chat on the Discord.
Are you not taking any or not? You don't want any at all, or you do?
No, I'll go without.
Okay.
You're like a walking healing potion almost. You said you had
It
3
only
ways
goes
to do it.
higher the more I level up.
Damn. Yep. That's my downfall. I gotta drink go-go juice to feel better.
Gummy berry juice. Gummy berries bouncing here and there and everywhere.
Oof.
Yeah, like cure wounds. It's not quite as good as your second wind ability. It's a spell, and it's only 1d8 plus 2. I think it's based off my spell modifier. So if I up that, like it'll can go to 3, but it's not a d10. So it's
Yeah.
not
second
quite as
wind-
powerful.
Yeah, the second one is 1d10 plus whatever level I'm at, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, yes.
Before we set up camp and all that, one last thing.
Mhm.
Oh, very wearily hand. I guess I'll hand it off to whoever's closest to me. I'll just say Zan because he was the last one that was talking. That vial of the reddish liquid,
Okay.
whatever that was, the syrupy stuff.
Yep.
And I'll just say like, fucking, talk amongst yourselves, figure it out, figure out what it is, and then just plop into bed or anywhere where I can collapse.
All right. Before bed, I don't know if there's any way I can try to identify it just by looking at it.
No.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
think so. It was a shot in the dark.
Yeah, not
Well, I
by-
mean, that's
not
why I
by
was
just
giving
looking at it.
I was giving it to you that way you could talk about it amongst yourselves. If I don't know if it's magical or not, but I just handed it to whoever was closest to me and just shuffled away.
Really upset when we find out it's a vial of hobgoblin semen sample.
Ew.
I think that's the session.
I'm just saying, we don't know what it is. She said it's thick, it's syrupy, it's see-through.
No, it's not see-through.
It's
red.
milky
It's not see-through?
and red.
It's a milky red.
Oh, hobgoblins. I don't know. I don't milk them.
It's whatever the hell came pouring out of my chest when that thing was eating me. So.
All right. Well,
Alrighty.
yeah, we'll continue on Tuesday, I guess, with the smaller session. We're starting over with our followers, so that's slightly sad, but it was mostly us anyway.
Follow us.
Don't forget to follow, and
You can win something.
you can win something pretty cool, custom
And we're
mini from
funny.
Hero Forge. But yeah, so we'll start up on Tuesday. If you guys are interested in that like fireside RP session that we can all do, if people want to, I hadn't thought really about like a time or any details. I just figured I'd throw it out there and see what people thought. But we can, pretend
Yeah.
and be nerds.
Sure, that sounds great.
I love
Around
it.
a fire.
I think it would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And even if not
Well, we're
everybody
all gonna-
can join, we just say like they're sleeping. You know.
We'll just prop a phone up on a chair, and you can be there. Yep. And Abaddon.
Oh, jeez.
All right. Well,
All right.
have a good night. I'm
All
surprised
right. Have a
these
good night.
guys
Good
have been asleep this
good
whole
game,
time,
everybody.
Good session, everyone.
Good game. Good night.
Good
Good night,
night.
Good night,
all.
everybody. Good
Bye.
night.